Okay, I guess that's not working. Okay, I guess that's not working. Yes. Okay, the lobby is up. It's called Clinic Day. If the name has not updated, it will be just search for the user Unit Cannon.
You're bringing up the next question. How do I search for a user?
You don't, unfortunately. Just hover over the lobbies and see which one is which.
Gotcha.
There's only one player in my current lobby. Let me just do something real quick.
Hello, there we go.
Yeah. If everyone can spec at this time, if you join. Where is Nolan when you need one? Okay.
How do we find your lobby?
Go to the battle list and look for the name Clinic Day. If not, I don't know what it would be. It should be at the very top because there isn't any there isn't any running. It's not, the match is not running.
Yeah, I think I joined. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Perfect.
Sorry I'm late.
You're not late.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
Yeah, you're tardy though.
Yeah, we'll let you off though. It's only 2 minutes.
No, it's okay. You're a government worker. Showing up 15 minutes late is perfectly fine. I was a government worker. I can say that. I know how true that is.
Hello.
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 What's the lobby called again?
Clinic Day.
Is it password protected? Because I don't see
It's there.
There's
I
no
can see
password
it.
for it.
It's on Comet Catcher Remake. You might be getting a lobby bug where the name doesn't update. But
Yeah,
just look for a Clinic Day. Sorry. Maybe go by the players who are in the actual lobby. Oh.
Look for Unit Cannon as a player name. It should be showing one of 16 in the lobby. Just as a reminder, this event will be live streamed just so that I can remember things. I am one of the contributors working on Bar right now, so I am currently fixing all the hitboxes for units.
So anything that goes wrong, we can actually blame you for it.
If it's a hitbox, you can blame someone else, because
awesome.
I did assign the current hitboxes, unless if it's a wreck, and even then, it's not necessarily me in that case.
So it's your fault that my Calamity Cannon not hitting enemy.
No, that's how you placed it in the wrong spot.
Yeah, just blame the map designers.
I'm confused because I joined the right one. It's called US 4008. And there are the right people in it, but when I join it, there's emptiness.
It's buggy.
Yeah, try to leave the lobby and rejoin, okay? Because I just had that same thing just a second ago.
What's the name of the lobby?
Clinic Day.
Clinic Day, yeah.
As a reminder, Choppy, which is our current lobby scheme, it has a tendency of lying at times. So whenever you see a player in a match or you see things not synced up properly, always try to, if you're wanting to simply start a match, instead of force specking that person, just start the match and see if Choppy is lying or not first. I assure you that Choppy lies more than you might think.
Sorry,
Choppy is our current lobby.
The name of the room?
No, it's the name of the lobby scheme. How you're able to join this match, basically.
Yeah, Choppy is sort of the application layer on top of the actual game. It's what you use to join games to, open skirmishes, open scenarios, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was looking around at the GitHub to trying to figure out where I can hook in and help a bit out, but it's not really clear. Because when I tried to go on top of the campaign stuff, I landed at lore and it was like, that's the wrong spot I want to go. And the campaign stuff is not really good labeled or have any node like guideline. So you can try to help out, but
campaign
still trying to figure out. Yeah, the campaign.
So campaign that's
called branch.
Yeah, the campaign is on my end. If you want to help with the API for that, you are free to do so. You would have to go to Wokibik about that.
I just want to try to figure out what is worked on and where's help needed. And I looked at the voluntary channel and there wasn't much up about development, more like translation and publishing and like getting the range for the game. That's why I got onto GitHub.
In that case, if you want to work on the lobby, on lobby, we have a new lobby in development. If you want to help with that, you can go to JazzCash about that. Make sure that if you want to start contributing to Bar, make sure that if you go to roles, you claim the development roles to see all the dev channels.
I already have, and it's too many. It's a lot, like dev main, graphics, and I'm more like into basically coding and less into like animations modeling. So that's like more like to the engines or like the lobby or like launcher. Like that's more something I'm interested in rather than modeling and animations.
For launcher, you would need to get in contact with Merrick.
Okay. Is there like, because I can't like remember all of this, is there like something central where I can reread the people I need to contact for certain parts?
I can DM you them.
Project? Okay.
I'll do that right
Would be nice. But by the way, I'm now in the lobby and I see a lot of people forced to be spectators, but I don't see any spectators. It's the third time I joined.
Same, yeah.
Driver, one question. Did you just rename yourself to Unit Cannon?
Maybe. Yes.
That is beautiful.
There is a reason for it.
Yes, I am aware.
I may have made Pyros fly halfway across DSDR. So at this point, if there's any questions about development interests, please ask right now. Otherwise, I'll be moving on to the class session for the clinic.
Can we put the lobby name in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yes.
Is it worth just staying in the lobby if we can't see anyone else? I'm in the lobby, but I just can't see anyone else in the lobby.
Try to leave the lobby and rejoin, okay?
Yeah, I'll keep trying that. No worries.
Oh, you've already tried. Well, kind of sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm in. It works now.
Awesome. You got here.
The magic touch.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's a feature.
all good.
Oh dear lord, we just
If the developer has a problem with something, just call it feature, not a problem.
Oh yeah.
Boy, this
I
game has
found
lot
a
of
bug
features.
for 2 days ago, I think, where you can duplicate the Hercules transporter or triplicate. That's funny.
And that's going to stop right there because we don't need that any more matches. As long as we report exploits, it's fine. Okay. At this point, I'll be starting the class session. Oh, perfect! It worked this time. Are there any current questions about how to play bar at this time?
Actually, slightly off topic. May I? Sorry, I'm kind of new to the bar community, so hello everybody. I'm wondering how I could become a more engaged tester. I'm not just talking about like strategy, but if there's anything I need to keep an eye out for and how I might most effectively report that.
So I'm going to recommend that you get in contact with Aku. Someone has a
Look, Edwards, I guess you're on speakers.
Oh, sorry. Fixed. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. Get in contact with Aku to help with testing. Aku has been really good at saying all of the issues that bar features. If you are comfortable knowing how to do engine splits, being able to compile previous versions of the game engine, or seeing how to do very intricate tests, Aku is the person to go to for that.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, perfect. I loaded in this time and not crashed. It's a feature for me. Are there any questions about bar organization? Regarding like being able to contribute further for bar?
No, but there is one question more associated with gameplay I also have, if that's okay.
That can wait.
Okay.
So as a reminder, this event is being live streamed. I am going to say this a few times during the stream. This is going to be the class session for bar. After we get through the class session, we'll be moving on to actual clinics, when I'll open up the lobby for other people to play. As a reminder, when it comes to the playing part, there is a thing where I will be calling the votes. Do not call extraneous votes that I did not call for. I will be kicking people from the lobby or asking people to be kicked from the lobby if votes are being called for that I didn't ask for. As a reminder. So.
Understood.
Okay.
One goal I have for this session is learning how to queue up, keep a continuous production going.
Okay, I'll be starting class on that part first. So, in bar, as a reminder, there are deposits on the map that you need to build metal extractors on. In this case, by my commander, there's 2. As a reminder for bar, always build extractors and energy production first before building a factory of any kind. You will stall on resources before the factory is finished if you don't get energy production or metal production up. Any questions?
Just that, obviously, you're building solar because the wind on this map is pretty awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
The wind is non-existent.
I apologize.
Along with that, what is the general wind average that you push to solar versus wind? Because I know if you can do wind, it's way more efficient. But what's the line where you make the decision for solar?
If you hover over the wind speed widget up top, it actually tells you that it's better to build solar collectors when the average wind speed is below 5 for Armada or 6 for Cortex. That's due to different metal costs. So if you don't want to memorize it, you can just hover over that one every game like I do.
Okay.
Perfect. Don't use widget. Use icon.
Fair point. Yes.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, widgets are basically asynchronous code. They are the UI elements and a few other things that operate in bar. You don't need to be too concerned about them. So, moving on. Actually, wait, I forgot to do... after this factory, I'll do settings. So, for for factories, you have a lot of views to choose from. As a reminder, you should always try to have a commander or a engineer or build turret assisting a factory at all times. To have continuous production, if you were to select the factory and press the repeat on, that will enable continuous production.
Low power.
Quick question: what's that 3-setting button about hold position, maneuver, and roam about?
Oh, I'll get to that in a little bit. But in short, basically, it's how far the units will chase enemy units. So, for example, on roam, if this unit right here, the grunt, if it sees an enemy unit right here, it'll immediately go over and engage it. Whereas if it's on maneuver, it'll be a lot more tolerant. Maybe about here is when it will start engaging an enemy unit from its position. And hold position basically means that the unit, if it sees another enemy unit, it won't move to engage that unit. It'll just stay in position.
I'm guessing early on it might help to have it on roam so they automatically engage whatever comes into sight, right?
It depends on your use case. Roam is actually quite useful. For those that are watching my live stream, there are a number of things that they're already seeing that are normally not a default thing, so keep that in mind. I'll get to them later.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, but do you think you could also handle running a Discord stream at the same time as the YouTube one, or?
I don't have the bandwidth for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, thought so. Then, okay, is it okay if I try to do that?
Sure, go for it. But
Okay.
my perspective is a little more important than...
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Okay. So, someone has a kid in the background. Don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. So moving on. At this point, since all the units are made, all units in the game have unique quirks and benefits. So, as a bot factory, you have a cheap infantry bot called Grunt. It features a laser weapon. The advantage of laser in bar is that it will almost always hit a target, and its range and its projectile is instant to a target. Keep in mind that laser.
Quick, you're talking about the
weapons.
I think you might be talking about the pawn in on Cortex. They're the ones with the lasers. I think the grunt has a shorter range plasma repeater or something.
The pawn is the one with the plasma. The grunt is the one with the laser, which is Cortex.
Which is like grunts. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for grunts, because they have a laser, they have poor tolerances to terrain differences. So for example, when a grunt is parked here, it really can't shoot past these points. This will be its firing arc roughly.
Sorry, driver. One more technical question. Okay. Sorry. Apparently, there's confusion about your audio on the YouTube stream, but we have conflicting reports. Someone does have audio, so sorry to interrupt. Sorry, driver. One more thing. No, Raka says they have audio, but they're in the Discord chat here. Okay, I'll try to mute myself here and verify that. I'll be right back.
I'm going to mute myself really quick and then.
Yeah, I said that because I was getting double audio when I opened up the stream.
Oh wait, I am getting There is audio on my end. From my end, at least.
Dude, there is audio on the YouTube stream. I'll be right
I'm
back.
gonna
Sorry.
make myself look like it.
Yeah, I said that because I was getting double audio.
Okay, I can hear myself on the stream. Maybe it's just that
wait,
the
yeah,
stream is muted. There is audio on my end.
Could be.
From my
Could be.
end, at least. Okay. I need to unmute myself. Or am I? No, I am unmuted on Discord. Okay. So back to Grunt. Because it has a laser, it has limited firing. It is very finicky when it comes to terrain differences. Next, we'll be talking about plasma thugs. Oh, sorry, thugs. I'm still used to the old names. Plasma features a projectile that goes from point A to point B from a weapon. Plasma will always do its damage to a target. Laser, in comparison, does 50% less damage at max range than it does at shorter range. This is just a gimmick of laser.
Oh, I feel dumb. I got names mixed up.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yes. Next are rockets. All missiles. The one downside of plasma, which is used on the majority of units, is that it can be deflected with tier 2 shields. So, if you're doing shields, you might want to consider using things like rockets or laser. Rockets, in comparison, they do their full damage whenever they hit a target. They don't have damage reduction. However, they have one additional benefit. If I could show it off here. No, that's not the right spot. They have flight time. So a plasma projectile, it will go. It will have a arc for its shot. It will always go to where it's aiming at. With some tolerance. Whereas with rockets, they will continue going past the range a little bit and then slowly die and go down to the ground. Like as you see right here. Anti-aircraft bots like the Trasher right here, for example, uses a missile for anti-air purposes. All anti-aircraft missiles, by the way, are purple, as a reminder. Whereas with ground, there will be no additional colors applied to it. This is a downside of having repeat function on. Finally, there are res bots. Now, because there isn't a way of doing this with cheat codes, because I don't have access to them in lobbies. I'll just show off the gimmick. Res bots, these are unique to the tier 1 stage. Their advantage is that they can reclaim and resurrect at high speeds. So, for example, this stud right here died and it left a wreck. Res bots, they can resurrect full live wrecks, as you can see right here. The units will when resurrected will respawn with 1% HP. Are there any questions so far?
Just a quick question. When you were selecting the units, it keeps saying thug. I think you selected the recover unit, but it keeps saying thug on the bottom left. Is that something that I'm seeing, or?
That's probably. Are you talking about the spectator in game?
Yeah.
Then
I'm on the
you
player view.
have the thug selected. That's all it is.
Oh, okay.
A common question that occurs, and it's not clear, is if you have a unit resurrected that's in Halo, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that unit dies again, can it be resurrected again? Because people say no, because it had in Halo. Other people say yes, because, for example, you can kill a commander in a team game, not here, because then the game will actually end. Can a commander be resurrected multiple times? Because then you can actually use it as a tactical nuke.
Yes, as you can see, I'm able to resurrect the thug again. The question is if the unit gets turned into a heap. This is when when a unit just turns into metal debris on the ground, basically. I'll get a demonstration of that, actually.
Is there any cost of resurrection?
It is 50% of the unit's energy cost, and any metal that was taken out of the unit.
So basically, you can't infinitely generate 2000 metal with the command if you kill it and resurrect it again.
Nope, it's just a loan.
But it is worth 300 bill power, so that's another good reason for it.
Yeah, but you get a T2 lab out of the commander wreck.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why people self-D their commanders for tier 2. I'm just going to turn this into a wreck. By the way, units will shoot their wrecks whenever they can. Whenever they have to, they won't make a special care about it. As you can see right here, there's a heap. This cannot be resurrected.
I'm assuming it's still worth resurrecting the commander in the late game, though.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, now with that heap out of the way, and all that.
Is there like a decay time, or towards the debris?
No.
Like over a period of time, it just goes away.
No.
As long as it's not being as long as you don't touch the wreck, it won't do anything.
Okay.
Same for the heaps. They do not despawn, but they can be moved. So you will occasionally see about several heaps just in this region up here in the corner of the map, for example, because there was a fight over here and they were launched into this direction.
A question that I have is if the wreck is piling up because they are fighting like for 20 minutes straight, and nobody's collecting the wreckage and it's not getting destroyed because they have single target damage for whatever reason, is that a reason for lag at a certain point?
No.
Is like rendering the wreckage or like laying on ground any reason for lag?
It would be pathfinding that would be the bigger culprit.
Okay.
Especially if you're doing a complex order, like if you were to select my factory, if you're a current spectator, if you were to have units that are being spammed out constantly doing this order for movement, this would be a very big culprit of lag. The same would also be true if you build a factory like this. Factories in this line, for example. There is a reason for it, though, that is tied to Pathfind, but it's a little bit different. All factories, if you're watching my stream, you'll be seeing a debugger view. There is a blue sphere right here in a factory. This is for all factories, by the way. This is debugger off radius. If you have units that queue into it, for whatever reason, it does cause more lag because of the bugger off is trying to make unit. It's trying to force units out of this little area so that I can build the next unit.
Is it actually called the bugger off sphere in the code itself?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Stunning.
Yes, and that's been a feature for a while.
And so the question still remains: when we have like one big fight of 32 players, the main reason for lag is not like all the wreckage, but all the units pathfinding to different points, and all the projectiles flying. Right? It's like basically a limit why we can't have bigger fights.
Basically, yes. Moving on. I'm just going to start reclaiming those two factories. Moving on, I'll be discussing settings that I use at this time. So if you are in match and not in the lobby, you will be able to do this live. Or if you're watching on the stream right now, you need to go to Skirmish and open up something over there. For settings, by the way, if you click on the Advanced section, Basic Advanced, and toggle to Advanced, this will actually be really helpful because this is where a number of the settings I use will be showing up. Under Interface, if you want the build menu that I'm using for the factory, it is called Grid. I would recommend that if you are new to BAR, you simply just turn on Grid Colorize this. I recommend turning that up if you want to see the order panel being colorized. Let me see. For the next, I would recommend factory dock. And finally, energy converter usage. Having these on. I don't believe there's anything in here on the second page for me.
Can I quickly ask, where could we find the YouTube stream?
It should be in the Bar Candy chat. Perfect if you could add that person.
Yes. Who was it? Can you say something else? Just so you know.
Farman official.
There you go. There you go. Gotcha.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, under game for the next settings. I recommend.
Can I also ask, what's the what exact difference does grid do? Like
with grid, I'll demonstrate that right now. With the current build menu, it's basically the TA Classic build menu. Whereas with grid, it basically changes the factory to be more like factory menus to be more like StarCraft, where you have hotkeys for every single unit. If you wish to have that, that's a grid feature only. That's what it does in short. Also, on top of that, there is a I'll get to that next. But there is a key binding specific for grid menu users that are available. I'll be going over that later, though.
And just before we carry on too much further as well, you talk about the factory dock and the energy converter usage section in the settings. My factory. Oh, I was just about to say my factory dock is amber rather than green. I'm wondering if that's a problem or it's not gone all the way to the right.
It should be green.
I can only go red or yellow.
Mine goes like halfway. It doesn't like all the way to the right of the slider. It just it's like
I think as long
neutral
as
color.
it's not red, it's fine.
Okay.
As far as I know.
It's a feature.
Just curious, yeah.
It's one of the features.
It should be green.
I like that feature.
Yeah. So under game, what I would recommend turning on is Factory Guard Builders. If you notice how every time I was queuing up a builder, I'll make sure to repeat those off. The builders would go out like this, and then start assisting at this point. That's what the Factory Guard does. Next is never actually, as a reminder, don't turn on Transport AI. That's a broken thing. Set target as default. That is the other big one. So instead of saying telling unit to go and attack a point, what you can do is you can tell it to set targets. Since there isn't an enemy, I can't really show it off. But basically, set target allows you to assign a priority target. That allows you to keep micromanaging units with movement while allowing your units to shoot the preferred targets.
I would like to add that it is a preferred target, and if some of the units that you have selected are not in range, they will not just stare at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's a cloak units option. If you want to tune these are units that are meant to be. These are units that can be cloaked immediately. If you want to tune this to be whatever you want, that's perfectly fine. Under control. Finally, there are several options for the key bindings. I would recommend, if you want to use grid menu, that you use grid optimized. And specifically the grid optimized without the 60% if you have a full keyboard. If you do not know what... all keyboards can have can have less keys than normal. If you have a numpad, you have a 100% keyboard, for example. If you don't have the the function keys at the top and the pause, if you don't have the function keys, the pause or pages or the numpad, you have a 60% keyboard, which is the smallest which is the last keys that you can have for keyboards right now. So that's just that. Notifications, I recommend turning tutorial mode off at this time. So that's settings. So moving on. Actually, are there any questions about settings?
What a quick question about the default to target one. Does that work with like fog with radar and stuff like that?
Yes.
Like the fog of war?
As long as the target is seen, basically.
Another question occurred is icons, icon scale, and icon distance, as well as the option to turn off icons. Is that possible?
Yes, it's under interface, I believe. Might be page 2. Icons, I don't think you can turn them off, but I do believe you can turn the... yes, it's under visuals.
Okay. So there's no option yet, or is it a plan to turn off icons if you don't want to see them?
I mean, to turn off icons entirely, I guess what you could do is increase the distance at which icons appear to the max. Then if you zoom out, completely, they will still show up.
Yeah, for example, on my screen I have it set to 12,000, and I'm not able to see icons at fairly well zoomed out point. So I'm going to change that back to default.
But there's no like toggle to turn it on and off, like.
I don't think so.
Okay.
There is a key for turning the interface on and off, I believe.
Yeah, but then you get rid of the whole interface, the minimap, the resource bars. That's a tough way to play.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Good to know.
I wish you the best of luck when that happens.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go over very well.
Hardcore bar.
Okay. Moving on, I'll be discussing the converter widget usage. Because I forgot to mention that. Basically, if you were to look at the top, right now you're not going to see any additional. Excuse me. You won't see any additional widgets icons are displaying at this time. But as soon as I make a converter, you will notice that another UI element has popped up. This is the energy converter usage. Basically, it's really good for seeing how well your converters are working versus how well your energy production is working. If you are planning on making converters at the T1 stage, I strongly recommend that you have an energy storage.
Because it needs to install. And it's gonna spend 4
Waxno, is there?
Alright. I had.
That's okay.
Phone started making noise.
With with converters, it is important to remember that they do need the full 70 energy from the storage to be able to do one conversion, to convert into one metal. And the more storage you have, the more that you're able to convert into metal, basically.
I'm sorry. This UI at the top, when I play the game, it doesn't show up. So is that like a special setting that I missed? You showed.
If you click on my, if you're a spectator, if you click on any of my units, you should be able to see it.
No, like the UI of energy, like converter thingies.
If it's not showing up, it's under interface and energy converter usage. It should
Okay. It's then a setting I missed.
Okay.
It's in the upper right-hand corner on the first page of face. Yeah.
Make sure also that your settings page that you have advanced enabled. It doesn't appear on basic.
Yeah.
But that's actually just solved. Having that widget has just solved a major gripe I was having as a new player. So that's fantastic.
Yes, converters lie. They're automated.
Yeah.
So don't worry. It catches everyone off. There are people who have made probably 300 or 400 T1 converters and only have 150 energy worth of production per second. I might have been one of those people at one point. Go ahead.
I have a question about energy converters because they are very explosive. Is there a way to easily build converters such that they don't just chain react off each other?
There sure is.
So if you were to select a unit and press space X, you will see 2 rings. The inner ring is the death ring. This will be where, when the unit dies, this is the explosion that will be generated. The flashing ring is the self-destruct range. Basically, for T1 converters, there isn't really that much space. Sorry. There isn't a lot of... if you want to eat into your base area, you're going to be really spreading out your converters. To give perspective, you need to basically build converters like this for them to not chain.
To be honest, if I can just hop in, there's also a build option where you can space up the buildings. I don't know what the key is right now.
Alt Z and X, but with the sheer size of the explosion radius of T1 converters, it doesn't matter how much spacing you give. It's always going to be you're going to be either trading off the amount of space you have for converting, or you're basically going to have to accept the self-destruct range.
Yeah, that was something I was saying. If the enemy team is so far in your backline that the converter is at risk, you maybe should have put up some turrets, plasma shields, anti-nuke, or anti-air for whatever reason they are just invading your backline.
Yep.
So
they're really fragile. You're the short answer is just protect them better.
Yes.
Yeah.
It means you fucked up somewhere.
Moving on, finally I'll be discussing the factory dock. So this is a feature that if you were to be a player, or you have my or I have any one of my use selected as a spectator, you will see that there is a factory icon on the right side of the screen. I'm able to queue. If you're able to see where I'm looking at as a spectator, you will notice that I don't have the factory selected at this time. I'm still able to queue units by simply mousing over on the right side and adding units to the queue through the factory dock. It is really useful if you want to pay attention in one spot and basically be able to affect the queue in another spot of a factory. It is worth noting that if you were to press the factory hotkeys for build positions, for the queue placement of the units, they also work on the factory dock. I'll be going through those really quickly. If you were to select a excuse me, sorry. With a factory, if you were to have infinite production going on, and I strongly recommend that you have repeat on. If you want to build a thug, for example, you can press left click to do so. If you want to, I'm just going to keep 7 at this time on repeat. But if I need some amount of grunts, if I were to press Alt and left click on grunts, the next unit that will come out of the factory after this thug will be grunts. There will be 6 of them. And with the Alt modifier, basically these units will only be produced as if the repeat function is off. There will only be so many. They will only build the amount that I specified. But if you press...
So say, for example, you've got a repeat queue of combat units, but you need to get a couple of engineers or resbots out quickly, you could just alt-click that to get a couple now, and then the queue would keep going?
Yes, it will resume afterwards. And if you want to interject a unit immediately, but have it on a repeat, if you press space with the... No, wait, I'm not on the right key bindings. This is why you learn 1 key binding settings and not 3, by the way. Oh no, maybe I don't have the right key binding for it then. Nope, I don't remember it then. There is a way of adding a unit to the queue, as if it would be repeated afterwards. honor ratio, just I forget the name of it. Perfect, do you remember it?
Not quite now.
Okay. I thought it was space or something.
Like intuitively, I could probably do it in a game, but if you're asking me, that's harder.
Okay. Yeah, it's not working for me.
Yeah, it says space is inserted at the top of the constructor queue, so that's a bit odd. Maybe it's another feature.
Maybe it's something to do with my key bindings being ancient. That's a real possibility, by the way. If you want to do key bindings for bar, by the way, it is a very involved process. As a heads up. So, moving on. I'll be moving to archery. Are there any questions about factory, about how to micromanage factories?
If you want to do like a succession of like a combination of units, can you just have the repeat on and then click on one unit onto the next and to the next?
Mhm.
That way it would do like 1, 2, 3 or whatever.
Yes.
Or X, Y, Z. Okay, cool.
Also, are you able to put groups that are in like factories? Like, are you able to instantly, like, when they get spawned, like, is there a way to really put them to control groups besides like?
Those are
doing
yes.
That-
Those are auto groups.
And I was about to go for them next.
Awesome.
Okay, my bad.
Don't worry, it's actually
Well,
those are
great
really
question,
important
right?
to know.
Well timed.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Well, I have a question about group, but I'm gonna let you continue because
Okay.
you're about to mention
Same.
it probably.
So, in this game, there are auto groups. This has been a feature since 2003. Ignore what other people say about inventing this mechanic. So, if you want to assign a unit to an auto group, what will happen is, if you want to assign one, you simply press Alt and a number, and it will assign a unit to an auto group. In this case, in my auto groups, grunts and thugs are on the same auto group of 1. This is just down to how I organize my groups. Units by the same, if they serve the same purpose or they're expected to serve a similar purpose, they are usually meant to be. They're going to be grouped. Remember that you only have 10 auto groups. There are also control
you need
groups.
to have the factory You need to have the factory selected to do that, right?
No, just the
No,
unit.
no.
Only units can be assigned to an auto group, by the way. You cannot
That's so
assign a
neat.
factory to an auto group, but you can
Okay.
assign it to a control group.
Okay, there was a misinterpretation there. on
Wait,
my part.
there is a difference between auto group and control group?
So auto group it assigns a unit to a number pad,
Yeah.
whereas control groups assigns a selection of units to the control group.
Yeah.
So in this case, if all these constructors, if I were to press Control 1, these would only show up on the control group. And these constructors that are right here would only be selected.
So the auto group assigns all current unit types to a control group, and all future unit types will also be put into that control group when they're built as a factory then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically. You assign a unit to a control group. Not it doesn't care about types.
You just don't have to box select and manually put all of them in a control group every time, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like StarCraft. It's much more comfortable.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
Hell
it's
yes.
better. Just as a reminder,
Basically,
by
it's
the
a
way.
mechanism.
As a reminder,
Sorry.
by the way, if you use control auto groups, it will select all units on the map that are assigned to the number, not what's on your screen. So keep that in mind. If you are dealing with multiple lanes, you probably want to move away from control groups. Start auto groups and just do block selection. So
A funny question is if some units get selected for auto group, like you have like a lot of fucks right now, or whatever they're fucks, and you say you want like 5 of them to split up in control group 2, for example, to access or help a lane. Can you remove it from the first auto group, add it to the second auto group, not auto group, control group, and leave them in the second control group
Yes.
and not like control them?
as long as they are not, as long as the units are not a part of an auto group, it'll be fine. So if you can select assign, let's say these units right here. If you were to press Alt and 1, auto groups are always permanent. It is for every unit that has been assigned to that auto group. But at the moment you need to assign units to a control group, that's where you would do this. So in this case,
would
I'm able...
if they are assigned to a control group automatically removed from the auto group?
Correct.
Yeah, if you select a small flanking group, for example, and you want that on, say, 2, then you can just hit Control 2 with those few units selected, and they will not be a part for the auto group for as long as, well, until you basically re-add that unit type to the auto group.
Yes.
Can
Or
you
until they
layer?
die.
Like, for example, on 1 is an auto group for fax, and you layer like 2 engineers over it with control group. Is that possible?
No, I don't think so.
Because what will happen is it'll unassign all the units from the auto group. The number can either be it can either be a control group or an auto group. It cannot be both.
So
and every time I assign, if you're watching my stream, for example, you will notice that every time I assign a group of units to control group 2, the rocket bots were being unassigned from their auto group. Because they're on 2 in my use case.
Can you use Shift 2 to add them to that control group without messing up the auto group?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
By the way,
I'm
just-
still a little confused about the difference between auto groups and control groups here.
If it's okay, I was gonna actually do a write-up on those in a few days' time. So I'll just put it on the website and link it in the academy, and that should clear up any confusion we might have. Because it's an often repeated question.
Perfect. Just say all auto groups are control groups, but not all control groups are auto groups. It's perfectly
I
simple.
think a good way to answer it is that the auto group feature automatically adds a unit to a control group, and you can choose rather when that unit is idle it gets added, or as soon as that unit is produced it gets added.
As soon as it's produced.
So the auto group is not a separate group; it is a way to manage your control groups better.
Yes.
Yeah, auto group, from what I said, is just automatically adding units to a control group. It's still like a control group. It's not a separate thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I have another question. For example, let's say on this map, for example, if it was a 1 versus 1, you want an army in the north and an army in the south, or like 3 armies, one also in the center, right? What would be the best way to make into 3 semi-equal 3 groups? How would you do it?
That's a manual thing.
Yeah. There is
because, for example, in StarCraft, you would just select a group alt 1, group alt 2, group alt 3. Like it automatically removes everyone from other groups and just selects into 3 distinct separate groups.
Here, Control 1 actually behaves like StarCraft's alt 1, as in one unit can only be in one control group at a time. So that's automatically handled for you.
You cannot have units in like 2 separate
No, you cannot.
groups, the same unit? Okay.
You cannot. It was weird to me as well.
And
Well,
I
it's
want to
manageable,
add
but-
that the auto group is carried over game. So if you set up one time auto
Yeah.
group, you don't need to set up the second time.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to say. Sorry, I'll just cut in on this quick. It's actually worth spending the time going into skirmish, making one of every unit, and figuring out which auto groups you would like to keep those in.
Yeah. As a recommendation for my part, the way I do auto groups is with a 2 factory approach. I always try to make sure that I have a ground factory or a naval factory mixed in with an air factory for my organization. That way I'm able to do both air and ground at the same time. So for example, as core, all my thugs, any short range weapons that are meant to either be tanky or rady, those units will be assigned to auto group 1. For my long range units like rocket bots, the Sheldon, the Arbiter, and the Mammoth, for example, would be assigned to group 2. 3 would be my radar and anti-air, as well as jammer. 5 is my res bots. Res bots always get, in my opinion, you should assign them to one auto group and not merge them with anything else. 6 is for Spybot, and in my case, the Scuttle as well, for the Cloak Bomb.
Barcast, are you here? Sorry.
On top of that, for air, So 6. 1 through 6 is for my ground. 0 is for my mobile anti-nukes. For my air, for in comparison. Oops, I did not mean to hit shift 5. What I do is bombers are assigned to 7, shurikens are assigned to 9, fighters are assigned to 6, and scouts are assigned to 9. Or they should be 7. Sorry, 8. This is what happens when you don't touch a factory for a while, and you have been messing with your key bindings and auto grips. Are there any questions about organizing auto grips?
I'm looking in the key bindings here for the control grid keys.
Mhm.
Control Q is split army. Would that be you highlight them all, you press that, it halves what you've got selected?
Yes, that's
It
the
does.
key binding. Then. Never mind. I'm on default. Right
I
now,
thought
which is-
that makes the units like spread apart. Is that not what it does?
Yeah, control Q. It's just because I'm used to several different key bindings that I'm not always going to remember which ones are which. Sometimes.
About the split, you need to be careful because there's also a key binding for workers. If you have want to build like 20 different things, and you press the key binding, it splits the work between the constructors. I don't know what button that is, but it has something enabled split as well.
It's a shift space.
It's like shift alt and space. If you're doing like the group one, shift alt space, and then
Like
you have 2
this.
constructors. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this space is what does this. That's what it'll split the work.
Is not good for energy production.
Thank you, Alice, for telling me about wind. I forgot to turn that one off. Regarding this is actually really good for certain types of builders, like the Butler for ARM, which is a tier 2 construction bot. It's really good for getting a lot of wind up and running.
So. How do you do that again?
Shift Alt space for the Shift Alt for the box and space for the splitting of the orders.
Oh, I was about to ask us. Well, like for example, if you click Shift, it does a line. If it click Alt, it does like space, right?
Yeah, it does like grid. Yeah.
It would still go from one to the other to the other to the other, right? It's not like this is what this does. Like all the workers split up to each and every single windmill is spacebar, right?
The splitting of the orders is with spacebar, but you need to press Shift and space to get Shift and Alt to get the box.
Okay.
Yeah, it tries to split the work evenly between the workers too. So.
Yep.
Is that recommended, or is that more for like big blocks like that what you're doing when you've got a lot of constructors?
Not with the thickness I did it with, because you're going to notice how a lot of those constructors are going to get stuck. But if you do it in a 2x2 line, like how it's done right with why I'm circling, it'll be perfectly fine. With T1 constructors, I would recommend not doing this. With splitting the orders up, it's really with the T2 the T2 build assist constructors like the Twitcher, the Consul, the Naval Engineers, and the.
I'm also guessing doing it like that and splitting the work up between your constructors will sap more resources in a shorter period of time. No.
It'll be the same resource drain, effectively, but it's just that the resources are going to be more split up between each different build, basically. As a reminder, by the way, you can self-destruct units.
Oh.
What's the keybind for that?
If you're on default, it is Control D. If you're on grid optimized, it is Control B. If you are using grid, Control D for default. If you're on grid optimized key bindings, it is Control B.
Okay.
It is worth noting that if you're playing with grid menu and you are on the the default key bindings, there are certain factories you will not be able to self-destruct. That could be rather important. So, I would strongly recommend if you are on grid, switch over to grid optimized.
I don't think grid is even a hotkey setup. I think it got removed. I think it's just grid optimized now.
For the key binding preset, yes. But
Yeah.
You need to turn on the grid option as well in
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah. Okay, and that actually turns on by default as well once you switch to grid optimized. Gotcha.
Are there any questions that people have?
This. I'm sorry, this is a totally offhand comment, but I'm trying not to laugh at this. But I noticed that when you're looking at the keys, the Alt tabs, you see F4 fun.
Well, it is for fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Winter had had a fun moment. He's a streamer for StarCraft 2. He had that moment last night.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How would you accidentally press Alt F4?
He was probably trying to press Alt and 4 at the same time on his keyboard.
Somebody was being a cheeky bastard when they put that.
He likes to set up
key
camera
binding mappings.
positions, so.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
probably what happened.
There's
by the way,
camera...
driver. Go ahead.
There's also camera bindings where you can set number functions for your function keys to assign points for the camera. Like for example, if I want to be here, I forget the binding for it, but you're able to do things like if you want to switch between these 2 points with a key bind, that is possible with the F1 through 4, which is probably why Winter did it.
Yeah.
The question still remains, especially I saw it from some caster, is if you switch up the view to not any overview, but to rotate, so you have like a cinematic shot of it. So right now you can only tilt up and down, as far as I've noticed, and zoom in and out. But with the rotate, you can, watch. And what camera settings is that? And how do you get it so it's playable?
It is Alt and just mouse scroll to the left or right. It rotates 90 degrees each time. It'll snap to 90 degrees each time.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
how do you rotate camera like that?
Alt and mouse to the left or right of the screen.
Okay.
But that's like, there's a fine-tuned variant of it where it not snaps 90 degree, but you can have cinematic where you can watch left and right.
Oh, you
and stop and go back.
So that's something that requires a widget, if I recall correctly. And it's not that it's not playable, it's more just that it requires a controller as well for the smoothness.
Because what I noticed is at settings control camera, there's this camera where you can go overhead and rotate overhead and free. And I noticed that free and rotate overhead was giving this effect, but was too slow to actually play with that.
Yeah, that I don't think it's it's optimized for looking good, not for gameplay. That's its downside.
Okay, yeah, good to know.
Okay, are there any other questions about what's been going on?
What?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The restore ground feature is a key that caught my attention.
Yes. If I can, I don't have resource cheat enabled, unfortunately, but essentially, wait, no, I have bombs. Why am I not doing that? Welcome to the most dangerous unit in the game. These units go away now. Oh. So every time an explosion happens, there's a deformation on the map in this little spot right here.
Uh-huh.
So whenever that happens, by the way, amphibious bombs are really scary. Don't try to get near them. And conveniently, if the bombs...
that's what that is. You're basically getting rid of that deformation.
Yes. Don't. As a reminder, by the way, don't try to use any more than 5 or 6 units to restore a portion of terrain. It will cause a lot of lag.
Really?
Yes.
What would that actually be used for? Like,
That's scary.
So in the case that if you're a techer on DSDR, for example, what tends to happen is you'll self-destruct your commander. I'm not going to self-destruct mine because that ends the match. But your commanders will leave a fairly deep crater wherever they explode. And in order to build in a flat area, you have to restore all that terrain again.
Of course, right, okay, yeah.
As a reminder, by the way, restore is broken if you change the water level of a map. You may suddenly realize that the terrain is going much higher or lower than intended.
Just a fun question. Is it possible to create mod by just exploding a hole?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. You self-detonate a commander in a team game, then you resurrect him, move him a little, then keep digging.
Yep, it's called going fishing. Because your goal is to get a seaplane lab.
Question about that bug between water level and restoration. Is it because the restoration settings are tied to the water level value in some way?
Yes. And it's an engine level issue.
Ouch.
So
that might be a little hard to fix.
Yep.
Oh well.
Okay. Finally, I'll go over the orders on the map for units. By the way, if you've noticed that, if you've been watching, you'll notice that I'm giving line orders. This is a feature of Spring and has been a feature since 2003. I am reminding people of 2003 because Spring is 20 years old at this point, which is the game engine being used. So, with all units,
sorry, quick one. How did you do that there to like move and attack in a line like that?
So, with all units, if you have an order selected and drag it, for example, move, you can go.
Does that work with attack as well?
Yes. So if you
right, okay.
like how I'm doing the move orders with a right click and dragging, I can if I were to press A and right click and drag, it does this.
So that's good for like a carpet bomb effect.
Yes.
I was thinking the same damn thing. Holy shit!
Now we imagine
that would be devastating. Oh my god!
It is. It absolutely is.
Imagine what it would look like if you did that with nuke launchers.
Yes. By the way, with A right click, this works for any unit in the game, not just bombers. But for bombers, it's really important to know because of their gimmick of being able to do a lot of damage very quickly. Because that's one base right there. Whoops, I did not mean to press that. So if I were to attack a base right here, I just simply do this, and there's a base right here. After those bombs get dropped, I just simply do this.
So essentially, bombers could potentially be more devastating than nukes.
They are more devastating than nukes. Just remember that bombers have a reload, and you need to account for that.
And that is holding A and then right-click, dragging in a line to
press
do
A.
a line bomb like that.
You don't need to hold A. You don't need to hold A. You just need to press A.
Okay, press A.
You got
then
this is
hold right
devastating. I'm gonna experiment with this my next game.
I'd like to interrupt with a question about bombers. Does the map's height affect where bombs are dropped?
Yes. So the bombs are a gravity weapon. They do care about how they fly about.
So say if I'm trying to bomb a mechs and the mechs is like on a piece of high ground and I click attack or bomb on that area, do I have to actually like aim north of it, south of it? Like what's
the order will always work. So for example, here this is a really bad case for bombers. It does also affect their drop range, by the way, where they will begin dropping, but the flight height does affect where how early the bombs will be dropped. The order will almost always work though. Just remember, there's also a thing called fight command. It is basically attack move. Never use it with bombers. With other units, it's perfectly fine.
By the way, could you also showcase this attack drag with those plasma pods you have there? I think that might be helpful for people to see.
Which ones?
Just the plasma bots, just so people know they can use that with artillery, etc.
Oh yeah, any unit.
So you can just hang back. Does it work with turrets as well?
Yes.
Sure.
Any unit. If I were to get conveniently I have a bunch of those.
Okay, so if I got a line of Ragnaroks, I could do it with that.
Yes, or tech news. Like I'm about to do right here.
That's terrifying.
Welcome to spring.
But awesome.
Welcome to spring. You have been enlightened on what is probably the best controlling RTS out there. I am not lying about that.
With those orders, right?
You know, I was playing Supreme Commander earlier, and I gotta admit, I missed the control features of Bar when I was doing that.
Yeah, nothing controls like spring. So, for example, a line order like this with the bombs. Oh, that's the wrong key binding. You can do things like this, just with the line order alone, and that's really useful. So, tactics are loading. They'll take their time.
Oh dear God! Self-destructing suicide bomber units. You could do an attack line with them and just have them go at an entire wall.
Yep. As a general reminder, by the way, self-destruct, generally speaking, does more damage, and has, generally speaking, more AoE, with exception to the commander and the commander. Sorry, the commander has the same self-destruct damage regardless of whether or not it dies or lives. Or sorry, if it dies or gets self-destructed. And the nano turret, which is the construction turret that's available at T1. I forgot to mention these. These
setting questions about.
Yeah. Construction turrets that self-destruct don't chain and don't do damage. They're the one edge case where they don't do anything.
Okay, I had a question about a setting regarding Nano's Cons Labs. Builder priority restriction. Can you explain the list of settings there under the game tab?
So basically what this means is that if builder priority restriction is applied, it means that the units that have that are toggled green are set to low priority. So for example, nano turrets, it means that they will every 15 game ticks, which is half a second, resources get pulsed in and out. And there's always a limit of how much resources that you have. Units with low priority are always going to get resources last. Units that have high priority will get resources first. So for example, my constructors, they will always build at their best speed if they were allowed to, while nano turrets, if there's enough resources to support all my construction bots. However, if I have enough resources to fully supply the advanced construction bots, but not the nano turrets, which are on low priority, the nano turrets won't do anything, basically.
So it's sort of a way to manage a stall, in a way.
Yes.
Right.
Precisely.
Yes. Also, as a reminder, there is a command called area mechs. If you want to use your constructors for that purpose.
That is a useful purpose for them.
Yes. Basically, it builds mechs in an area.
I've been using that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as a reminder,
what button is that? Because I've been trying to a couple of times. It says like X or Z in space or whatever, but like it just drags it across.
It's if you're on the grid. These keys, because I struggle with this. It's Control Z when you've got the constructor selected. Then you hold left mouse and just drag it out.
By the way, the question for me is the Z button is the Y button, and I'm pretty certain that my keyboard, German keyboard,
in that
should
case,
be somewhere different, but it doesn't translate it like right.
Are you? What type of keyboard? So if you go to Control, you'll see a keyboard layout option just above the key bindings. You'll see QWERTY as the default, You could change it to what your keyboard is. I think you're on Quartz for German
Oh,
keyboards.
that's it. Okay.
For German keyboards, it's the ZMY key that's switched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll go to Quartz. If you have other keyboard layout types, you can also pick from those as well, like Azert or
That's a really nice
Dovak.
touch.
Yeah.
Okay, this question's gonna sound a little funny, but I heard something earlier that raised it. When you switch to grid optimized, does it switch the function of the left and right mouse buttons?
No.
Probably. No, it shouldn't actually. That's a Reso question. Resopmak is the person in charge of key bindings for grid optimized.
Got
if you're curious.
But I don't think it does anything like that.
I don't think it does either.
A lot of drawings on this map now.
How do you even draw and stuff? I don't even know the keybind for that.
If you're on
Grid.
default, it is Q left click drag. If you're on grid optimized, it will be tilde, which is the top right key, and left click drag.
Oh, word.
That's useful.
If you want to remove all the drawings on the map, simply go to the bottom right and click the eraser. This will remove all drawings from your perspective, but it will leave the drawings for other people to look at.
Is there a way to
Those
show...
two self-destructing did a lot.
Yeah.
The question about like the nano turrets as well as building, it occurred to me that when I use one comp to build something, and I started to like consume it because I decided I don't want air or don't want naval. Some construction turrets still try to build it while my poor constructor is trying to suck it up or reclaim it.
Tell the you get to put your construction turrets to either reclaim what you're trying to reclaim or
but I
tell
mean,
them to guard
I
something
had
else.
the nano is just like hanging there doing nothing, or the construction turret, and when I start building something, it helps to build the something. But when I decide I don't want it, and it's not fully built, I like
You
all the
need to
time
issue,
the construction turret is still trying to build it while something else is like destroying it or reclaiming it.
You
And
need
then-
to reorder the nano turret to unbuild. It doesn't. It assumes to repair first and build first before reclaiming, unless if it's an
So
enemy
there's
unit. in
no
which-
way to like coordinate it by just doing that.
Correct.
Not with a single command now.
Are there any?
Yeah. Is there a way to show damage ranges like you showed before, that you can press space X to show the self-destruction range? Can you do this like with weapon and radar range also? And can you show it permanently?
So in the bottom right, it'll show the unit stats if you have one unit selected. I don't know what the key binding is on grid optimized, but I know on default, if you were to select a unit and press space, you'll see the actual stats of a unit. You'll see the cost, in the form of metal, energy, and then build time. You'll see the move speed, the line of sight. By the way, in this game, there are two types of line of sight. Oh, thank you, Perfy. There is ground line of sight, which is what you see being drawn. So, for example, if I were to use this Mex as a reference point, I could see this amount of space. But from an air perspective, I might be able to see this amount from the same Mex, even though that's lopsided. So,
I see. Okay.
A lot of optimization going on here.
For the weapon, it'll excuse me. For the weapon, it'll show what it is. It'll tell you the range, the reload, the AOE of each attack. The edge effectiveness, basically how much damage does the bomb do at the edge versus the center. All weapons do more damage at the center of their attacks. And then finally, it'll list impulse. Impulse is basically a weapon's attack ability to push other units around. So, for example, if I were to get a bunch of AK, I was about to say AKs, I meant grunts. As you can see, I'm still not used to the new names that have been existing for 6 months. And I get some pounders going. Basically, pounders have a high impulse weapon, so if I were to simply attack the ground, you'll see that a grunt goes flying through the air.
It stays alive, that's great.
Also note that the nano turrets repaired it while it was flying.
You're living up to your name now.
This is...
I love how they're flailing their legs in the air like that. They're like, oh my god, I'm in the air!
Because this is not just founders' abilities.
Actually,
the map is
hold on.
exaggerating the moving, right?
Yeah, you used to be able to push Thors with ticks. I mean, literally get a swarm of ticks and push Thors forward to accelerate them. Because they had too low weight set.
This is not This is not what I discovered, by the way. There's something a little bit more nefarious in this game sometime that I might demonstrate.
Is this the same thing I've seen? I think I saw a YouTube video of someone sending the commander and sending fiends across the map.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, was that you?
That was me. I discovered that.
Same concept. Same concept, except
yes.
destroying a commander.
Yes, but that's exploiting a few other things in the game.
Oh, okay.
Such as how the engine doesn't use the proper. So, commanders, when they're inside of a transport, they do less damage. The problem on the engine side is that it uses the correct it uses the default damage that a commander does on self-destruct. But the commander will do the damage that it does inside of a transport. Because of that, I was able to get fiends halfway across the map on DSTR and into poor Alberto's base, who was not ready for such a feature to occur. I might have done it. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but a bit of a silly question. Is there fall damage?
No.
Okay.
Conveniently, there isn't.
That is absolutely hilarious. I imagine you can get up to all kinds of cheeky shenanigans in this game because of that.
It's that specific exploit has been nerfed. I will describe it as nerfed. But it still works.
Oh my god.
You're welcome, by the way, for that discovery. Moving on.
That is evil. I'm gonna find ways to use that.
Oh, I've already done it. Okay, moving on. I'm going to end the Salinas that has occurred.
I still have a couple questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Regarding back to the energy converters, when you said they have like a self-destruct range. The range is the red area was where it will kill, literally, like kill other.
It's where it will damage.
Or it's where it's where it damage. So then, you don't need to space it that much, correct?
Allow me to demonstrate. This is with one unit of spacing, by the way. If you look here, you'll notice that they all chain.
Yeah, these all chain, so you need like 2 or 3 space.
No.
Do you have enough of those little bots coming out? My god.
There's never enough of those.
That's nothing. Watch the last video Winter did.
Oh yeah, where the tick spammer built the factories in a line like this.
There's like 12 factories, 15 like tier 1 factories in place, and they're just spawning the tier 1 units out non-stop.
Yep.
How many
it's a great
build
video.
turrets did he have next to that thing?
Enough.
I think each one had like 8 behind them. Yeah, each factory had like 8 of those things behind it.
Oh,
okay.
That's a lot of parts flying through the air.
And as you'll notice that there's a slight crater now. So that's what Restore's for.
Then, another question. When is it more worth to build the nano like turrets and just more construct bots?
It depends. Constructed turrets are actually they do one thing really well, which is their build power to cost ratio. But constructors, they produce energy. So it's a case of what do you want and when do you need it.
And
constructors
also,
actually
They're called bed bugs.
constructors actively produce energy.
Yes.
they produce a tiny bit, yeah. Each tier 1 does like half a basic solar, I believe. But also remember that constructors give you mobile build power. So you cannot emulate with another turret unless you have a transport.
Can you give a brief overview, bots versus tanks versus air? What's like the preferred starting unit, or what's like kind of religion, what people goes for?
So, if doubt, always go with the bot start. Bots, generally speaking, are cheap for their damage costs. Vehicles are individually stronger, generally speaking, but are much more expensive.
And slower.
Air is a case of if you ever open it, you need to either open with a transport or with a very specific goal in mind. Otherwise, you're going to be you're going to be extremely far behind on whatever you're going to attempt to do. As an advantage, bots they don't necessarily have the same range as vehicles, but because of their cheapness and the fact that they have res bots, they are very good at getting to spots quickly. On this map, by the way, if you want to think about it, vehicles are a slightly stronger start because of how flat the map is. Vehicles, generally speaking, are faster in a straight line, whereas bots are much more flexible in changing their directions. That's a feature that just occurred. With this one. Does that answer your question?
Sounds good, and because I see a lot of people going air when they're eco, because it's a lot easier to pile up a lot of construction air versus a lot of construction vehicle or bot to build like things really fast. When you get like to air 200 or 250, you can one shot build something if you have the eco for it. Versus like vehicles, they're just jiggling, trying to intercept each other, building something. So this is like when you're going air, you don't need a lot of construction turrets for building, versus you're getting a vehicle and you're trying to get one or two to the job, but with a lot of construction turrets.
With air, you have the worst build power ratios to cost, and also your energy costs at the start of the match are double. Compared to a bot.
Okay.
So if you're going with an eco start, you should almost always be opening with bot, unless if it's a naval eco slot. With air, as if you ever open it with in mind, it's basically based down to you're either going to be securing a spot with a transport and your commander, or you're going to be doing something very cheeky.
Okay, so basically if somebody opens air, he or she wants to cheese the enemy by going bomber first or whatever shenanigans can go with air.
You, as a general rule of thumb, you should never open air first. It should always be either bots or it should either be bots or vehicles or naval, something ground at least.
Yes,
the real answer.
So a couple of days ago, so I got bombed like within 5 back, and that person didn't do anything the rest of the game pretty much.
Yeah.
So they slowed me down, but at the end of it, they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, air has the worst build power compared to any other units. It is worth noting that air units do stack in ways that ground units don't. Like for example, if you look at this factory, you'll see that all the constructors are pushing themselves out. Air constructors don't do this because they don't collide with each other.
A good question about naval versus land units. What is the best combat if you're stuck with land? because you are tasked to basically defend the middle, which is completely land, and left and right, or like people call it north and south, is going sea, and north is collapsing for whatever reason, and you're trying to help it by land. Is there like any good units to counter sea? Because I see a lot of like sea dominance, and there's no way for land
air units.
Land units to actually counter them, or like help out at certain points. Well, what is the
amphibious tanks and amphibious ducks?
Amphibious can either be riding on the surface of the water or underneath. In reality, if you're in the case of your north lane being sea, what I would recommend, and your middle is land, what I would recommend is going air.
Okay, so basically air against sea. What unit type would be the best counter when you go air?
Bombers, or shurikens if you're core, and mixed with bombers.
Okay, because there's a unit called torpedo, whatever. Is that any good? Sounds like sea.
That's tier 2 though.
That's tier 2. And the tier 2 air lab is the most expensive of the tier 2 labs, if I recall correctly. It's either that or the naval lab.
Okay.
I imagine air still has an extreme amount of damage potential when used correctly.
Yes. Krez?
Sounds like sea.
Krez, we can hear you. I'll just mute him for now. I could do that. Okay. Yes, we'll be switching to games. Are there any other questions?
I did have one question. So, I actually come from Age of Empires. That's the game I played. Is there a like rock paper scissors counter system in this game?
No.
So like spearman counter cavalry counter archer type deal.
It's not hard counter. It's soft counter at best, with exception to the pounder, which is an anti-bot unit basically.
Okay.
Because it'll just fling them into the atmosphere.
Yes. Also, when a unit is in the air, conveniently, it cannot do anything else other than go to where it's flying to. So, for example, if I try to order, those units won't do anything. They'll just simply fly and... Yep. Also,
so it's really great to have a line of these riot tanks for crowd control.
Yes. It's the best anti-bot unit in the game.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Yes.
So this match ends. I'm going to be switching this over to proper games.
Exciting.
So
I would like to do a couple of like training games with somebody who's more in the know.
That's what this is for.
I had Rubber Duck walked me through some stuff yesterday because I just downloaded the game and it was super useful.
I think honestly the first 10 minutes is like the most important part of the game, honestly.
I remembered something. I remember using there are tier 2 nuclear bombers.
Yes.
What happened is they were not going in like a horizontal line, they were going like in a vertical line. And what happened is the first one would bomb, the last ones would also dive for the bombing and get nuked by the first bomb. Is there a like, I guess you should not make them to go in the line, but is that like a core mechanic, like it should be a thing? I guess I don't know how.
Or does it get disintegrated mid-air?
Yeah, because I like launched the nuke, and from the first nuke, like the last of the bombers died. I had like 8 bombers. The first would bomb, then the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and like only 2 would come out of the bombing.
Dear God.
That's a feature, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Driver, I want to go back to development because you only sent me for the launch and the lobby. What are the other people's to get in contact for development and
I mean,
the game?
get yourself the development role on Discord and you'll have access.
I have it.
Okay.
And I see a lot of channels, but there's no pinned message saying you need to message X, Epsilon, and Z. I only got through the campaign because that interested me the last post that got posted there. But I was a bit stuck because somebody posted the 0K mission editor. Is that the goal you want to achieve to push the
so in that case, I'm in charge of the campaign, but Will Cubic is the person that you need to get in contact with. We're trying to import the 0K mission editor to Barm.
Ooh.
And
okay.
maintain and further expand the API for it.
Okay.
So Will Cubic and Watch the 4 are the people that you want to get into contact with. Unfortunately, we don't. For our onboarding, it's basically down to who knows what is basically going to claim. We'll be able to direct you. Fortunately,
okay, so
I know most of the people.
To speak to the people directly.
You can mention in campaign.
Okay.
Question about maps. What's the biggest map in the game?
That would probably be River Run.
Well, Mediterranean's 32 by 32. Nine Meadows is 32 by 32.
Man, River Run is massive.
Yeah, so in Caldera for maps that are actually played in teams. I guess not, because that's a water map. Those are played less often. Krakatoa is played quite often in free for all, I think.
Funny question: how do you get 32 players on a map? Because currently the team size is limited to 8.
So
and I saw a cast where that was possible, so now I'm curious.
That's anniversary events, even so to speak.
It was an anniversary thing. It's something that the devs have specifically locked down on the engine side. It requires a moderator to unlock the game to 32 players.
Okay.
At this time, if you are a player right now, can you please go and set the map to River Run? I cannot set the map to River Run. Oh no, this is a feature.
Boss mode.
Okay.
Someone type in !! boss. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Nope. Aren't you the boss?
Right. Okay. I think we're gonna have to ask.
Don't worry.
You just close the lobby.
I just called that lobby. I'm going to do a new one.
Yeah.
I am going to make sure that I am not boss this time.
Is it because your name is Judith, Cannon?
No. Wait, I need.
Whoa!
Actually, I need to make myself boss for a second. Turtle, if you can vote yes.
How do you switch off boss mode?
The boss needs to type an ! boss, and to disable it. But the problem is that I was a spectator and couldn't call for it.
Yep.
Oh, so
I
there's not a boss override for a spectating boss.
Yes, I managed to brick the lobby by doing that. There.
Yeah, that seems like a feature that needs to be fixed.
Well, I mean, couldn't you have joined back in the actual lobby and done it?
This is quicker.
It'd be kind of cool if there could be a spectator boss.
Oh, I do have a question about some of these maps. So, me and my friends, we all downloaded this game at the same time. We're all playing blind, right? I pick a map that kind of looks like League of Legends ARAM. It's just a straight line, and we were gonna play it. There was no metal nodes anywhere.
Was it speed metal?
So there are maps called metal maps. Basically, you build extractors everywhere.
And they work.
I just tried to change that. Oops. Okay, so it's like there's no node, but you can just build them there and they'll work.
Yes, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For example, it just produces metal.
Exactly.
But by the way, that's what I find quite nice about the current lobby system. when you go to advanced
Join
settings at the
queue?
third side, there's an option that says Death Tweak for the people that want to have modded games. You can basically input code there. You need to take a look at GitHub to figure it out. But basically, I saw a custom game mode where the walls have 2000 HP or 2 million HP and regen like insane. And you basically play raptors like farming eggs. They can't get to you, and you have enough time to do whatever you pleases on the other side. And he modified so you can only get metal from the eggs. That's why it's called egg
Queen
farm.
is very angry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But okay, these metal maps are basically just gigantic metal nodes.
Yes.
That's scary. That's almost
Why?
terrifying.
But it's usually used for fun, not for actual like PvP stuff. Usually.
Oh, they are used for PvP maps, but generally speaking, speed metal isn't that map. Isn't the map aspect. At this point, if you are a player, please ready up. If someone could hit,
I thought I'm spectating. I didn't see I was playing.
and hit start on the match, and vote yes.
Awesome. Let's do it.
If you if you are watching my live stream, you will notice that there were 2 people who Chubby was claiming was in the match. This is proof of it lying. Because if those people were actually in a match, this match would not have been allowed to start.
By the way, is the spectator delayed?
No.
Because there's for the spectator, there's the possibility to talk all chat and basically like important stuff like bomber runs.
If you look at the moderator chat in Discord, you will see people getting actually moderated for doing that stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so how seriously are we taking this match? Are we like taking it easy and practicing, or what are we doing?
During these clinics, there is no such thing as spec cheating. Feel free to ask any question. It doesn't. My recommendation is don't name the player, but if you are a spectator, ping what you're asking about. If you were
How do
to
you
press,
ping?
It is going to be Q left mouse button. Q middle mouse button.
Yes.
But there's also the ability to label. If you're familiar with Spring
Pinging is
Commander,
like Q middle click, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle click to just ping with a look here message, and it's double Q or double tilde key to ping with a message saying "Help here, things," something like that.
It is Q or tilde double left click to place a label. I would strongly recommend, if you have a question, use labels as to what you're asking about specifically.
You can delete a label, yeah?
Before you start, I wanted to ask about the geothermal spots. Is it worth to put an energy production on top of it or the turret? Like, what's the drawback and what do you think it's better?
So, depending on what you're dealing with, if you're Cortex, you have the ability to place either an explosive geo or a shooty geo. The shooty geo will always produce energy, and it will pay for itself in energy cost always. But it's only going to produce 450 when it's not shooting. Whereas the explosive geo will produce 1200. Basically.
Okay.
Is the one that the service, I think it's called, the one that shoots?
Yes.
Is that when it if it gets destroyed, it's not doing a big explosion?
It will do a slight explosion.
Okay, because I know I was in the Academy chat last night talking about the thermals, and I wasn't sure if that was one of the safe ones.
It's a safer geo.
Safer, okay.
ARM has a T2 safe geo that it only produces 600 energy per second, if I recall correctly, or 750. But it has like 20k HP and it doesn't explode massively.
Okay.
On this map, by the way, there will be no teching players, basically. So don't self-destruct your commanders. I just want you to make units and go forward. If you don't know what teching is, that's perfectly fine.
I was about to ask what is teching.
So teching is basically when you when you're starting with the intention of going to T2 within 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh.
This usually involves sacrificing your commander. So, as a reminder, always try to make sure that your factories are assisted by either your commander or a construction turret or a construction unit. Don't leave your factory out having to build its units by itself.
Interesting. Good to know.
Why can they just not grab the units by themselves?
It's a question of, do you want to wait 35 seconds for a construction bot or do you want to wait 10 seconds?
Yeah, lots have low inherent build power basically. You really need to support them, which is actually why you don't make more than one lab of the same type early on in bar.
Yeah. So, for example, if we were to look at this space right here, this person doesn't have a construction bot out yet, and this has been going on for will be going on for 35 seconds. As a reminder, there are trees on this map. You can reclaim them.
Oh yeah.
For energy.
Give power, right? Yeah, power. Okay.
Yep. And so as a recommendation, do not build ticks on this map. Ticks are not going to work very well. They have limited places where they can cross the water. Ponds, however, will be able to cross anywhere.
Can ticks actually cross anywhere on this map? Because I tried that. Oh, okay.
Yes, at certain points, like here, they can cross.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
It's limited spots.
Is there? So I was under the impression that pretty much anything could cross water. They just couldn't shoot in it. Is there an actual depth or height ratio, I guess, of the bot and/or vehicle?
It depends on the unit. Each weapon has an emitter height. Or sorry, where it could shoot from, basically.
Oh, okay.
So, why is?
Yeah, this is a great question. Does it matter?
So, so the question is, why the Most High player plays Extractor manually a bit further from the start than normal? Basically, it's just down to how do you optimize your walk time for your commander. Less walk time for your commander and more build time early on for your commander is really strong.
There are also some maps on which you can sort of nest Metal Extractor in a nuke, so that it's a little easier to defend it.
Yes.
There's a 1-1 map that's the case.
Yeah. The mech snapping, which is your ability to how far away you can build a mech from the center of a deposit. It varies on each map. On this map, it's fairly tight, but on a map like Helmet Capture, it's a lot more loose. And as a general rule for this match, by the way, you are playing to hold the middle, not trying to actually win the match at this time. I'll let you know when you get switched to play to win.
I'm not entirely sure everyone in the game is actually in the voice chat.
It'll work out.
Okay.
So if someone starts trying to play to win, focus on that guy.
Yes, I'll even name them.
Bounty,
Copy
per
that.
se. A bounty.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
If you have a question about a specific set of units,
Yeah, I do. There are 2 solar panels, the regular and an advanced. When do you go for one or the other?
So basic solar is when you don't have energy and you have a ton of metal. Advanced solar is for when you have energy and metal.
I'm guessing I shouldn't have gone for this
for
geothermal
example,
stuff.
there is a lot of wind. You still you spam wind turbines.
Absolutely, yes.
On this map, it's
some current meta, yeah.
On this map in particular, it's basically spam wind. But I would strongly recommend getting like 1 or 2 basic solars, and maybe the geo if you had the hill starts.
So
I might have gone for the geo a little too early because it took a long time to build.
If it was with one constructor, then yes, it was way too early.
Oh no, I mean I did it without the energy income to do it quickly anyway, so it didn't matter how many constructors I put on it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balancing act to get it late enough.
Yeah, if you're getting it right now or have it right now, you got it a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Also, is there like
Go
a?
ahead.
Sorry. Is there like a limit to like build power? I see like some because the other day when I was playing, like I noticed like some people put like a whole block of like construction turrets just for one production or like one factory. Is there like a cap on that, or is it just sort of if it's in the vicinity of this turret, you can just have as much of the bonus per turret assisting with the production?
The question basically comes down to what unit are you producing and how quickly is that unit able to vacate the factory and the next unit being queued. So in the case of a Team 1 lab, you shouldn't really have any more than 2 or 3 nano turrets. In the case of a Tier 2 lab, you can go with a lot more. Significantly more, actually. If you are in late game spam mode with T1, no more than 6. Or 4, depending on the units that you're producing for spam. In the case of the tickets, 4.
I think I've been a little slow in picking up my metal.
Yeah, you're a little
Really
slow
is
on
a bit of a-
expansion. But that's fine. That's what this match is for.
Sorry, I'm not playing this game, but I do have a question. If you're trying to specifically hold the center, at what point do you say like, oh, if I'm trying to hold this specific location, I should build like a artillery?
Whenever you feel like you need it. Generally speaking, it is better to build raiders. If you're trying to specifically hold a position, turrets are actually going to be your best friend. They have better cost ratios for everything, but they don't move. So it just depends on. It depends on what you're facing. If you're not facing anything, you should be pushing regardless. Is the better answer. So. If you are in the middle region of the map and Celestary, Atvi and Stat as Smurf, you should be fighting over that little river. Don't just try to hang back. You should try to be pushing a little bit further than normal. Are there any other questions going on?
Okay. They do it because it messes with targeting AI. Like it wastes shots from like snipers or tachyon turrets or whatever.
Good to know.
Yeah, like overkilling, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, for example, I remember watching Winter. He mentioned about flanking and like hitting units from behind.
Oh, so whenever you're engaging something, always try to be more spread out whenever you're trying to engage that unit. By the way, don't push any further than where the commander died. For a reference on this map.
I don't see where that is.
If you're in the middle, you'll see where it is. You'll even
There's
know
a rather large hole, yeah.
Planning it is clinic day. I lost track of the question. What was the question again? Sorry.
Flanking.
Oh, so basically, units that are spread out attacking a specific spot. If I could ask for a pause at this time.
Okay.
So, okay. So if you were to look at this tank right here. If you were to only be attacking from...
But it's the tank right in the middle.
Yeah. if you were to be attacking it from this where I circled and at this tank, you'll be doing a more a bit of damage. But if you were to be attacking from all 360, you'll be doing significantly more damage with the same units. Basically.
So does it work like, for example, a company of heroes? If you know, for example, tanks, they can have the rear shots, right? Does it work similar like that, or is it? Like,
no, it's basically it's down to where the attack is coming from.
Oh, so for where the first attack comes and then the other attacks.
Yes. So basically, it's like your ability to surround an infantry squad with machine gun units.
So, for example, does every unit have like a frontal like spot and then the rear stuff, like rear? Like
there isn't a direct facing for like the unit. There is no unit facing per se. It's more just where the attack is coming from is the front.
Okay, then the first attack is decided where the front is, and then all the other ones are like rear.
Yes, and they do bonus damage. It's up to 2 times for a multiplier.
Okay, thank you.
So, at this point in time, I would like to ask that people look at your base, see how you have grown your base. Look at your nearby allies, and see how they have grown their base. For example, and pay good attention to Hefn and Yichi if you're on the east, Fireox on the west, as well as Atmianstadt, and on the west, they have done fairly well. Yes, if you have, there is a flanking display widget. If you have that on, the red side is where the bonus damage is being applied. Not where it's being applied, it's where more damage is being allowed to occur.
I'm sorry, where do you like get this debug view? Is it under settings or is it like?
It's probably in settings and interface, I would expect. I'm looking for it right now. Oh, isn't?
No, this is a widget.
Oh, the debug one. Okay, sorry.
I won't explain widgets during this stream. I'll have a proper video about them, about how they work and what they're doing. If you're watching my live stream, you'll see things like metal.
Oh, is this like mod specific?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'll have a video over that. I promise to do that at some point. For example, you'll see on this map, I'm drawing a specific area. I can tell you in this where what's being drawn, there is 3,000 metal in front of Smurf's base. I can tell you that just by looking at them, just with the widget that I have. It's a metal display. And normal players do not have this widget, by the way.
It's pretty easy to set it up. You just pull a file from GitHub.
Yes. Perfect, did you manage to get it installed?
Oh, you can.
I did. Yes. Yes, you can do client-side things pretty easily. Just Lua scripting.
If you want the reclaim display widget, and you are perfectly fine with not having the proper instructions, go to widgets download. Search for Lexon, and you will see a post about reclaim field highlight.
Yeah, okay. I will find it, I guess.
Yeah, that's the widget I'm using.
I went into that part of the Discord and I walked right back out.
Yes.
And I'm guessing these are these utilities you could take into, or some of these rather, utilities that you could take into games without any issue, like multiplayer games?
There's no issue with it. We don't have a policy about it.
Yeah, for tournament games, they are, I believe, banned.
They are always banned.
Oh yeah, is there like a rank system for like general?
Yes.
Not specially organized tournaments. There is a rank system.
Yes. We use OpenSkill. If you're familiar with TrueSkill, it's basically the same thing.
ELO tip? You mean?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to ELO and MMR in StarCraft.
Yes. Okay. Are there any questions about map positioning for where players are, what they're doing? Is there any questions about what they should be doing?
I don't know if it's too early for this question, but one of the things I have issue with is, so my early game. I won't say it's good. It's good for someone who just started, I guess. My biggest thing is I always have trouble figuring out when I should invest going to tier 2 because I feel like I either do it too early and just get destroyed because I don't have enough unit production, or I do it too late and like the game's kind of already pushed one way or the other, and by the time I get up to the tier 2, eventually tier 3 stuff, my other teammates have been like, hey, we already did that and everyone's dead.
Yeah, I actually looked up a guide specifically for this. It said about when you reach 1,000 energy income. This is like the earliest you can do it.
You can do it on less. You can do it on 300 energy income. That's how Tigers get away with being able to do how to get to T2 within like 5 or 6 minutes. In reality, if you are a front player, the best answer is when your lane has stabilized. So, for example, Sestrally and Firefox can go T2. Their lane, from their perspective, their lane is stabilized. Whereas Smurf, if he were to attempt to go to T2, that's an automatic lose situation if he gets pushed. Ice Dragon Scale could also attempt to go T2, but his lane isn't really stabilized. It's more just that he's able to have a lot. He has a lot of units and he's able to do a lot of things. Yechi and Heflin could also consider going T2. Their lanes are much more Yechi in particular because of his start type. He can consider going T2, but it's better for him to stay T1 in this situation that he's in. If he opened with a bot or vehicles, he would be better off tagging. If you are for Hythan, he can consider it much more likely because of how his lane has stabilized them. If you're on West, for example, this would be Krita would be the closest equivalent to Yechi in terms of start. So
the big thing there was me getting rolled over was me misreading the state of the map.
Yes.
Okay.
If you are checking, the bare minimum requirements are 300 energy income minimum, and that should be stable energy, like in the form of a geo or in the form of some amount of solars. If you're doing wind, you should be pushing 800 or 900. Or sorry, not 800, 900, 600 at least.
Okay.
With 2 or 3 energy storages. Tier 1. If you are playing in this match right now, by the way, as a reminder, if you do not have an energy storage at this time, you need to have one at this time. If you have, you do not need a metal storage unless if you're doing something very specific. If you have 2 or 3 energy storages, you do not need to build any more energy storages for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I also had a question. Why do you need to build those?
In the case of converters, it's basically down to for energy storage, it's basically down to you being able to store more energy. Some use cost energy to fire. Some use and also when it comes to your economy, if your income is higher than your storage count, you will automatically be overflowing whatever amount of income above your storage count to your other teammates or just accessing it. So always try to make sure that your income is at least double your income. So.
Also, I don't know if it was mentioned before, but if you have if your economy is based on windmills, then having some storage is also always useful because of the fluctuations.
That too.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Especially on like maps with big variety. I mean, for example, 0 to 22 on power on wind. Then when the wind drops to 0 from 22, you will, if you don't have any storage, you will suffer from that.
Good to know.
But then it's also you need to actually save up the energy, not use it up.
Yeah, that's why you whenever you have a wind-based economy, then you need to keep your sliders high.
Because my StarCraft brain says if you're floating minerals, you should spend them.
Yep.
Oh,
I
same happens with energy and metal.
had the same problem when I just sliding the conversion metal conversion bar to the flat to the 0, and then wind dropped and I had nothing. But yeah, this is a little bit different than StarCraft.
Yeah, you want to be keeping some of your energy. Like you should probably be spending mostly all of your metal, but energy you actually want to keep some because there are units that actually consume energy to function. Like they can't shoot without energy. Most tier 3 units, or cloaking on commanders, or the D-gun, or snipers. Exactly, yeah.
Every laser, for example.
And every laser turret, yes.
Yep. Also, another thing I like to do, due to having lots of storage, is whenever I see one of my allies in a multiplayer game, I mean bigger than 1v1, whenever I see one of my allies lacking energy, I can just quickly send him like half of my storage.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful.
Yeah, that's also quite an important thing, I believe, to look at your teammates' economy to see whether they are in dire need of energy.
I see other people's games. They actually have the econ, their teammates' econ, on the sidebar where it has everyone's names. Mine only has like the ping and then the bars itself, not like actual numerical value next to it.
Let me just quickly pull it up for you. Find out where to actually change that. It's in settings, but let me just. Oh yeah, it's in settings, and you go to interface, and on the first page, the middle column has player list, and there you basically. I have everything enabled under player list except for unit totals. The most important setting there to turn on is the mascot.
Right, that is very important.
Yes.
Are you guys in a game right now?
Yes.
Yeah, we're in a game on River Run. The lobby is called Clinic Day.
All right.
And I'm really glad you're here because I'm gonna be heading to bed soon.
Sure.
Okay. At this point in time, you should be looking at your ally's base. If you see that your ally has a T2 lab, consider that, or sorry, has a T2 lab being built. Consider sending them metal and asking for a T2 constructor. If you have a T2 factory already, I would strongly recommend sending T2 constructors to your allies.
Yeah, to send units, you select to share units with your allies. You select a unit, then you in the player list, there's a button. You find the player you want to give the unit to, and there's a button next to their name with like 2 arrows, sort of in a loop. You click that while having the unit selected. Just remember not to share your lab accidentally. That happens all the time.
Whoops.
Or you could do that on purpose and make people queue the things that they want, and you can just tell them, and you can assist them in getting the units that they want. There's team play elements. There's a lot of team play elements in Bar that you can consider.
Yeah. For example, you can just, if that's your strategy, you can just funnel all your metal into one guy, and he will just take up immediately with some power, obviously. First, there are many tactics.
As a reminder, by the way, lasers do care about the terrain that they're built on. So don't try to make lasers next to hills if you want to shoot over the hills.
Also, I don't know if it was mentioned, but lasers do more damage the closer they are to the enemy.
Yes. It is 50% damage at max range and 100% at minimum range. By the way, as a reminder, if you can, you might want to consider sending metal to your allies that are making T2 labs. Like, for example, Yichi asked for metal for his lab. So consider sending metal to him. In the player list, you will see that there is a square, a lightning bolt, and a double arrow icon. The double arrow icon is for giving units. The square is for sending metal. And the lightning bolt is for sending energy. In the case of Ichi, he needs both energy and metal. So consider
what
both.
What minute are you guys in? Because I'm fast forwarding right now.
Riverrun?
Yeah. I mean,
We're
what
at
minute?
16 minutes in.
16 minutes. Okay, thank you.
If you, this map is actually really good for seeing how map politics plays out. As a reminder, by the way, there is in front of Tanderins, there's 2,000 metal worth of reclaim. You might want to consider getting that. In near South's fight, there is 2,000 metal. Again, you might want to consider grabbing it with either a constructor or with a res bots or your commander.
Also remember that if you have a whole bunch of units, but you haven't actually checked if you might be able to kill your enemy with them, then it's worth doing so, right? Because units standing in a neat grid don't actually pay for themselves.
Right. Commander
This applies.
working.
Yeah, this applies to actually several of you.
So does that bot.
Run, Teal.
Vehicles tend to get stuck everywhere. That's a nice kill.
Well, an enemy commander got blown up. Nice.
Yep. At the 25-minute mark, I would like for people to start trying to win, given how this match is going to start escalating. As a reminder, by the way, if you have a T2 lab, do share it to other people.
Does that
How
work?
can I
I'm
do
not
that?
playing right now. Yeah, I don't know
So
about
if you have a T2 constructor selected,
Yes.
You will see a double arrow. If you look in the bottom right, you'll see a double arrow icon. The arrows are facing opposite of each other. If you were to have a unit selected and click on the relevant player that you wish to give to, you will give that unit to the player. It's a double click, I believe.
Yeah, it's a double click.
Sorry, you lost me.
Okay, let me just put this in the chat.
Yeah, I sent one unit to the Whoopi.
He was not ready for air.
No one's ready for air, and he's attempting to degun air.
Oh,
That's
no,
cute.
it's minor.
Actually, you can degun air, by the way. It does work.
You gotta do some kind of weird platforming and shoot it. Have your guy aiming up somehow on like a hill.
It's more a case of it's more a case of the shot needs to land on the unit, which is rather hard.
I do not have a lot
Oh,
of
so the
metal
guy
on me
will
at the
actually
moment.
aim up and lob it up there. It's just a
Yes.
matter of it actually hitting.
Yes.
Okay.
Is Ice Dragon scale in this match? In this voice chat?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, don't push any further than that.
Okay, sure.
All right, guys. I can see that.
Is Terrestrially in here? I know I'm butchering your name.
Yeah.
Okay. No further than that at this time.
I can see that 3 players as of now are still keeping their T1 solar collectors, the basic ones.
That's fine.
That's
if
I mean,
they wish to grow their economy more, I would strongly recommend growing your economy more.
Okay. I was just trying to suggest that if we have a build power right now and you don't have metal,
So, can you please again tell me how I share my unit to others?
I've been giving my units to ZapX for so he has more to work with while defending.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be using Resbots to further supplement that soon. I find it kind of rewarding to help my teammate over here.
Yes.
Give him control of the army while I build up static defenses.
You can do a lot of things. As
I selected my unit, yeah.
Yeah. Now click on the route. Now look in the bottom right.
Yeah. I see. Who needs it?
Usually it's that.
I think I did it.
Yes, you did.
You did, yes, and you still have your factory, so that's great.
Well, I actually got another
now.
question here.
All right.
So as you're progressing through the game, obviously, after you get to tier 3 and you're entering sort of the end game with your the experimental gantry, you obviously have different levels of tier 3 within that. Yes. How are you gauging obviously the Juggernaut is hundreds of thousands of energy.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gauging your energy per second and metal per second into knowing what you can build? Because obviously with StarCraft or Age of Empires, where I play, a unit costs X and it just pulls it right away. Where this game, the economy is a little bit more fluid. It feels like.
It's a semi-flow economy. Basically, it's down to what can you get away with and what do you need. So, for example, if a person were to have a T3 gantry right now, let's say if you're a spectator, this player, I would, as an ARM player, I would consider making a bunch of Marauders right now, and actually going out and start pushing at the 25-minute mark because of how fast Marauders are. Looking at, for example, this player, seeing how Marauders will just shoot that up, and then they will be able to go over here and basically in this line quickly. Marauders are very fast and very cheap for T3 units. They are the cheapest of the T3, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
If you're looking at getting something like the Juggernauts or the Titan, it's basically down to what do you actually need them, and how's your lane doing? Ideally, for the more expensive T3, you would have at least 200 metal income, and probably 8,000 to 10,000 energy income. Is what I would be aiming for the big expensive stuff. Any less than that is basically just asking for issues. Generally speaking.
Okay.
There can be a situation, for example, where you just won a battle and you have a big reclaim field. Then because reclaim is also metal that you can get.
Yeah.
But it's not in your storage yet, so you can just predict kind of that you can hover over reclaim with a constructor with the E button, and you draw a circle and to estimate how much metal is there, and then you can, for example, think that okay, there's 10k metal, maybe I can get a fast Titan, for example.
Okay. That's what the field reclaim budget does that you're seeing on my live stream. It does that automatically.
Okay, right. So the 5.2 that's all the wreckage and the
that's all the wrecks and heaps combined into a single number. It's a convenient thing. Feel free to start winning at this time.
So it's
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
At this time, if you think you can start winning, go for it. You are free to do so.
So it's like, say on your stream, you see you have that 5k metal, you can factor that into the decision of I normally wouldn't be able to buy this, but I can safely get this boost of 5k, and I can push something out.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
At this time, make sure to pay attention to your allies, like, for example, Whippy. You should be looking at your north lane. In Bar, you always need to be selfish with your allies. If you are not selfish with your allies, you are going to lose. For example, Fireox could actually start considering pushing to mid.
Yichi behind me feels like he's focusing really hard on econ right now. Or what is he doing? What is he building?
Which player?
Yichi?
He is
Like
going
me?
for a... He's doing this. I pinged it. That should answer your
Are
question.
those what I think they are?
No.
No, they are not. The
they're-
ones that I'm thinking of are on Armada, I believe.
If you remember the T1 bombers before, these are just basically improved T1 bombers.
How do you get like the different air? Oh, is there an advanced? Oh, there's a Tech 2 aircraft plan. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Tech 2 for almost everything but hover.
Everything but
But
hover
what?
and seaplanes.
Seaplane,
And
well, seaplanes are sort of 1.5, right?
Seaplanes are the most
went from tier two
overpowered
too early.
units in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They beat
By the
everything
way,
on cost.
bonus points if any one of you manages to get a destroyer, the T1 naval destroyer on this map.
That's actually not that hard.
It's not that hard. I would challenge people to get a seaplane lab going.
I was playing AI yesterday with using a bunch of naval, and it's so strong you can't do anything. Just spam naval units.
Nuclear bombers. Yikes!
Yep, those are fun. So
The big advantage of. Yeah, sorry.
Seaplanes are
Is
strong.
there a limit how much units do you can have?
1800, I believe.
Wow.
For the seaplane question, it's basically everything about their cost is the reason.
What just hit orange over on this side? That green
Oh, that's a
electro
Juno.
attack, whatever that was.
So Junos,
Juno?
they will one tap all ground scouts, such as that you can pick from the vehicle lab, and the tech from the Armada lab. They will also instantly kill any radar and jammers in an area.
So you're telling me they aren't jammers themselves?
So they are extremely powerful anti-intel units, essentially.
Yes.
Right.
Pretty much, yes.
Although they destroy your own as well. So if you are planning to go in with your, for example, Sheldons and jammers and raiders, keep that in mind.
Yeah. And the effect lasts for about 10 to 15 seconds, I believe. Or maybe 20.
20, I
Also,
believe.
I think, yeah.
You can just find one.
Yeah, Port
Where's
Blue.
my... I got a tier 2 buy. Yes!
Here.
Remember to do A and right-click drag. And if you are going for bombing raids, what I would recommend is to aim for the build power of a base or an advanced fusion if you see one.
Mm-hmm.
Not ones that are being built, but the ones that are finished, because those tend to go a little bit. Those tend to go boom.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Usually
remember
killing.
to not tunnel vision and watch the map. Try to support your allies. Because if your allies die, you're likely next.
Yes. Always be selfish.
Also, whenever you, for example, where you don't have that many bombers, you can just start by destroying the construction turret clamp, because when one explodes, all of them dies, and they can theoretically they can slow the damage that's to the
nanos will chain
fusion. Yep.
Unless
Is there
there's
same
any
as
plan
wind
for-
turbines and energy converters.
I'm curious. Is there any plan for a changed commanders that allows them to be upgradable in terms of build power and tier?
That would be Umba Commander. That's not an official game mode right now. So from an official standpoint, no, but from an unofficial standpoint, yes. Is the best way I can answer it.
More like
well,
Supreme
I'm
Commander.
thinking like a mechanic where when you have the economy, you can just order the commander to self-upgrade later, kind of like in Supreme Commander. But I haven't seen that yet.
Sounds fun.
It's an Umba. That's an Umba Commander feature.
What does the Advanced Fusion do? I'm not familiar with
The
it.
Advanced Fusion is basically the most cost-effective way of making energy. That isn't a tier 2 geo. It produces an advanced
fusion reactor,
produces 3,000 energy per tick. Sorry, 3,000 energy per second.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
And it has the best. I think it has the second best ratio of energy to metal costs in the game.
And it also functions as a nuke in your own base with the explodes.
Yep.
So whenever you are building those, it's better to build them in the back and defended by anti-air, preferably.
Defended by everything.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, if
when they chain massively.
Mm-hmm.
They are basically an arm nuke worth of explosion damage. For that push in north, basically it's Fat Boy and Bulldogs, which are coming up right now.
Also,
or infantry would work, except for the Fidos.
There is one more strategy for that. I mean, it's more micro.
Mm-hmm.
It requires more macro, but if you have spy bots, you can just control D them into the hounds.
Yeah. That too.
And they will disable them for like 15 seconds, which is massive.
I'm loving my gunships.
Is there a matchmaking system or you have to enter lobbies?
You have to enter lobbies, but matchmaking is planned.
Yep.
Cool.
You can always call your lobby, for example, your or on open skill value and 1v1. Following it. Someone will join.
Eventually they will. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun game.
Yeah. The goal is to abandon the current lobby system, which is called Chobby. This is, I am assuming people are not using Sky Lobby here. If you don't know what that is, that's perfectly fine. The issues with Chobby is that it doesn't have great support for a lot of things that we want for matchmaking. And it does support matchmaking, it's just that it's not very good at being able to communicate what's going on. From a UI perspective, there is a new lobby being worked on. In comparison, that will be replacing a lot of the issues that we're dealing with.
I'm guessing it'll also make when you add bots to the match. I'm noticing if you want to change any of their characteristics, you have to delete them and make new ones. Is that going to be changed? Good.
That's probably going to stay as is.
Wait, what?
I'm going to bet that stays as is because they're each different types of AIs. I don't know if the lobby supports changing of the AI types.
Well, bummer.
It's a feature. So just remember that a lot of this is volunteer work, so it'll get done when it gets done.
Yeah.
Copy that.
So.
Well, and contributions are always welcome.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
So at this point in time, so when is it better to go to build regular fusions instead of advanced? Basically, it's down to how greedy you can be. If the map is a wood map, for example, you have like 1,000 or 2,000 energy per second. Going straight to the advanced fusion or APHIS is actually not a bad idea. Whereas if you're talking about solar maps, it is generally speaking, if you go T2 Eco first, it is either you get a Geo or you get a Fusion. And then
Good
that
to
is the
know.
earliest time that you should attempt to make a an advanced fusion at that point.
Basically, it's a step up point for the advanced fusion. You just build
Mhm.
one, maximum two, those. Because one fusion reactor can almost fully power two advanced metal converter, which is 20 metal per second.
Yes.
Is enough for advanced with your all the other metal income.
Yep. If you are making T1 gunships, I'm going to recommend that you go T2 and get the better ones.
That would be me. My bad.
Yeah, Banshees
Granted,
are...
the T1s did serve their purpose.
Yes.
As a panic defense, they are not that bad, but in mass, if you want to fight them with a proper army, you should get T2.
Copy that.
If you are in the south area, there's a bunch of unclaimed mexes. If you want to get those, that's up to you. If you're facing in 3 different lanes, I wouldn't be surprised if people are missing out on mexes at this time. By the way, pop-up turrets take reduced damage when they are not shooting or when they're not popped up. They do take normal damage when they are shooting or when they are popped up, though. They are harder to hit, though.
It's nice to see that long-range plasma.
Which does not currently have energy to shoot.
No, it's just reloading.
Sadly.
It has the power to fire.
Does he?
Yeah, he has 2 fusions.
Oh, I'm looking at under
I was looking at
another
the
cannon
black
then. Yeah, I was talking about light blue.
Light blue. No, I don't see light blue having a plasma.
Here.
Oh, there. Oh, that light blue. Never mind.
Yeah, I've been kind of wrecked.
Just
That's
This is my little base. That's all that's left.
You
just
can
build wind
always-
turbines. Literally, just build
you
wind
can
turbines.
switch
Bam.
off the cannon and ask for your allies for some power.
Conveniently, you
And
can also give away the cannon and have someone else deal with the energy draw.
Yeah, that's also. And give it to
Could
someone
give it
else.
to me. I've got tons of power here. About to, anyway. I've already got my first fusion.
There we go. Now
If you have
everything's
anti-nukes, by the way, it's best to give them to allies that have energy income, just to get an anti-nuke loaded. It's really annoying to do to techers, though, so be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
So is it always better just to have the one type of factory and then you just fuel it with as much build power as possible?
Up to a point for the build power. After a certain point, the you can apply too much build power to the point where it becomes irrelevant. Because the unit walkout time takes longer than the time to actually make the unit.
Sure. Okay.
Vehicle constructors have...
I just don't see many examples of people building like 3 or 4 of the same factory or anything. Doesn't seem to happen very often.
Late game, it absolutely does. People, make 10, 15, whatever, tier 1 bot labs and just keep streaming ticks or grunts or pawns across the map.
Yep.
Okay.
It happens all the time in 8v8.
Yeah, there's usually one person just spamming ticks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you say it takes like what 3 or 4 turrets for like one tier 1 factory to
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the late stage,
be
that's
like
what you're looking at.
fully efficient or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Any more than that is basically just a waste of build power. So,
Oh wow, the number of units I have resurrected here is quite high.
How long is this? Oh my gosh, the range is crazy for this plasma cannon.
Yep.
Almost 5,000.
Yeah, that's where you... Oh, you have the power right now. Never mind.
Yeah, Whippy, I know you were in sort of a tough spot there, but I'd just like to point out that it's sort of in a suboptimal position, right? Your artillery cannon. Like,
Yeah, I know.
always try to put them on hills etc. But yeah, like understandable
What I
given
would
what happened.
recommend, Whoopi, is to reclaim the 4 LLTs and A8 that are next to each other on the hill, because those will block the plasma cannon from firing in certain directions.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, roger
Yeah.
that.
Turrets can block each other.
Yep.
Conveniently, you can also self-destruct them. Just move the Centurions away.
I need the metal.
I mean, it's just for 400 metal. Those.
Also, because your allies secured the northern part of the map right now, you can start expanding there, because you've been condensed in these little spots. You can just take those maxes because you're the closest one.
That's a lot of flak.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Luck.
On a good wind map, ideally never.
Arnie,
I mean,
it's basically down to it's more about your lane rather than your income. I would say any less than 8 is not viable for a T2 transition.
Believe
That's very specific to Teggers. If you're frontline, probably no less than 10 to 15. And you should be banking resources and having reclaim before going T2.
But would you say a lot of players right now are like overdoing the turbines? Or is it just more of just a preference as far as just keeping... Yeah.
They don't have enough. Ever.
Yeah, just keep on building turbines. For example, on this map, average wind speed is 14, which is one of the highest. So the more turbines, the better. They are
basically want to be spamming the hell out of them.
Yeah, as long as you have space for them.
Also, you might want to consider making advanced fusions at this point in time.
Yeah. If you have the build power to quickly build a fusion, then go for it. If you have the build power, for example, 2 fusions, or there is a certain
I've already got 3, so
where you should stop building advanced fusions and just use the metal from the converters to build a attack force and just finish the game.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if you have 4 advanced fusion and the opponent just builds 2, he has 20k metal more than you right now. So that's like a behemoth amount of metal. And that behemoth could be just walking at you right now.
Yep.
You always need to keep that in mind.
I think we'll be good on metal shortly.
There's like 30k metal reclaim on the map right now that you can go grab.
30k.
Wait a minute, when did I reclaim the enemy commander?
Wherever your mass resurrecting in the circle.
You have right now. You have 3.
I have 3.
Yes, you have 3 commanders.
Well, 2 of them got reclaimed. Sorry, 2 of them got resurrected is what happened.
And that way you have 9 commanders right now.
You can as long as the enemy commander wreck is a wreck and not a heap, you can resurrect it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they would also have to destroy all 3 of those commanders to win.
Yep. They count the win.
No, you would need to kill all 9 on East.
Oh, I'm like say he was the last one left versus their team. They would need to kill all 3 of his.
Yes.
Because the counter it says 9 right now, so you need to kill all those 9.
Yeah, it's extremely funny when they bomb your army with a commander, you resurrect their commander, and you bomb them right back.
Yeah, that's the ultimate BM.
Oh, it's BM. Bloody hell! Sorry.
Nah, it's okay. I mean, they're extremely useful for D-guns because you have a spare commander that can immediately kill anything in the game. So yeah, they're quite useful. Resurrecting commanders.
I find resurrecting enemy commanders to be hilarious.
Those mammoths are sick.
I mean, depending on the time in the game, because for example, if you kill a commander within like first 5-8 minutes or 10 even, I believe you should just reclaim him to get that 2k metal to immediately transfer to T2 stage of the game.
I mean, I now have Cortex technology available to me, so I'm gonna mess around with that.
You can always ask an ally to give you a Cortex constructor.
Considering I accidentally reclaimed 2 enemy commanders and one of them is Cortex, I don't have to do that right now. So
It will still take a while for you to get the juicy tier 2 units. It's often better to just late game buy a tier 2 constructor of the kind you prefer.
okay, that's weird. I don't want area attack. I just want standard attack. There
You
we
might.
go.
Okay.
A line of standard attacks. Bombers are on the way. Full wing.
Remember to actually aim with them.
Yes.
By command. F is the default key by
F. A, if you use A, they would just attack the point where.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
I forgot to mention that in the class. Fight command, basically the units will go forward and attack. It's basically attack.
Oh my gosh, poor Red.
Oof.
That's tough.
There was a Geo there.
Yeah, congratulations to the person who learned how to do a attack round spread like that.
Ideally, you don't want to build anything about around your T2 geothermal because they explode harder than AFUS. They are almost like a nuclear explosion.
Yep.
So, for example, Thunderant here. If your Geo explodes right now, it kills everything on that hill.
Man, there's so many units that I just need to play this game because the soft counters I just can't keep up with.
You can just stick to the main line, I guess.
I mean, it also helps that if like your teammates also help you out as well too. Like you build one units and the other, like someone else is going artillery, and the rest is going air units to back y'all up as well.
Mm-hmm.
For example, for Cortex bots, you can go Sheldons and Fiends. That's the bread and butter. For Armada, you would go Hounds and probably Welders. And maybe Snipers.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah, but probably you can just stick to those two, like a support unit and a fighting unit, and some Raider Jammers, and Raiders. They're always useful. And for
oh my gosh,
tanks,
the Juggernaut.
For
there
tanks,
it is.
Basically the same. Tank artillery and the basic tank. And just spam those two and move forward.
I don't know why, but the Juggernaut's stuck moonwalking. Oh wait, no.
That's hilarious. All right, time for my next bombing run. If y'all would hold back on Pink Space just for a minute, I'm going to enjoy this.
Please don't play with your food.
All units have regeneration, by the way. So Arneo, the unit facing doesn't affect where the flanking bonus comes from. As long as the attack is coming from the same spot, it will always be the same. It's the best way to explain it. It would say yes. Yes, Arneo. As long as there isn't another attack, that changes the direction. Because it does change per attack. Ozlak's not correctly. It is
very flak heavy.
It discriminates towards where the last attack was. It doesn't immediately change to where the last attack was. It just moves closer to where it was. So.
All right, go ahead and kill him.
Yeah.
Just kill him.
There's a bunch of snipers that might need some.
I
bombers.
might have overdone it on the econ. My God.
You didn't do enough.
First, I. Really?
Yeah, only 42k in energy.
Only 12k in energy.
Oh. Really?
12k in energy income. Let's see what other people have. There's a person with 10,000 that has double the amount of income of you.
UG has 16k energy.
Okay, fair enough. How the hell did they get higher energy than me when I have this many wind farms and fusions?
You're not making the advanced fusions.
You are making the basics.
Ah.
Yeah.
Also, to ramp your economy faster, you preferably build some construction turrets because they speed up building constructions by quite far. They have 200 big power, which is the highest of the constructible units, I believe.
I would recommend either using a bunch of air constructors or a layer of about four or five wide nano construction turrets, not single lane.
You just shift alt like 4x4 square construction turrets, and then build around it.
At this time, if you're on the West team, if you wish to resign, that's perfectly fine. Or if you have a commander, simply move it forward and try to find an enemy unit.
I don't know. I love this defense with this sniper line right here. It's holding decently.
Yeah, he's putting up a hell of a fight.
The one
I gotta
counter
admit,
to
I respect
snipers
it.
is the grunt or tick spam someone mentioned earlier.
Into the Tifa unit.
Because they have such a long reload, they will shoot the grunt and not the important units
Fresh wave
behind
of bombers inbound.
Those are gunships.
Nope,
Oh wait,
I
that's
got
the wrong
53
person.
bombers.
Oh, that's the wrong person. Sorry. Close
Hold
enough.
the door.
I think I overdid it on the bomber wing. Actually, you know what? No, it's never enough.
It's
I
never.
mean, A is pretty good if they have the right one. So yeah.
I've made this mistake many times, building scouts instead of fighters.
Just remember to a right click drag. Oh good, you are doing that. Don't go for that stuff. Go for the fusions in the back.
Yeah, there's like
there's 10 fusions.
Don't
next
see it.
Yeah.
There's 12
Never
fusions
mind.
right next to each other. You'll see them.
If you kill one, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not
Going
sure
for
about the basic fusions, but if that was an advanced, they will all.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
Dying.
Which is
Yeah,
why
my
you
bomber
should
wing got
always
wiped.
scout before you bomb.
You won't get my.
Actually, no, I did manage to drop one strike on their solar farm. So.
At this stage, who cares about solar?
By the way, there is an
was
enemy
watching
commander in the top middle that is cloaked at this time. If you can kill all the energy production on this map that you can find, that would be preferable.
Well, I do have a wide array of.
Comparing the power production.
So
for
with that
example,
bombing run, would it
Might be game.
It would be
that'll be
really
game.
smart to have a wing of like fighters or scouts in front of your bombers to soak up the anti-air.
Yes.
Not exactly, because I believe there is the script for anti-air to target bombers first.
It still helps. It does help,
Yeah,
but the script
helps,
does
but-
exist.
Yeah. For example, when the enemy has a lot of the most advanced AA, forgot what it's called, then you can just eat all the shots with the scouts, for example.
It is worth noting that there are turrets that have really bad reloads. By the way, there's a commander walking to the top right of the map at this time.
Right.
Yes. If you know where Blue's mexes are in the top right area.
I got my bomber wings heading that way, so.
Just go kill him.
My bomber wings are headed towards him, so we'll see him.
Yes, you can use T1 bombers to bait for T2 bombers.
He's right above the hill.
And Loka, for example, your wind farm that has 48 windmills right now is producing 700 power. And if
Going
you
up the
compare,
hill.
it's like it's not even a basic fusion.
Where is it? There he is. Found him.
Vici is killing himself, by the way, this time, as a reminder.
Rest in peace.
Oh, he's self-destructing. You're not going to be able to kill him. Oh, he canceled the self-destruct order. You might have a chance of killing him.
Assuming he. Oh my god, he's just dodging.
He juked them all.
That's good micro.
Oh, that's so good.
Not good enough.
I would like to
Good
remind that Yichi produced
Okay.
resources.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. I'll be headed to bed, but keep going, guys, and good luck, have fun. See you around.
Yeah,
Have a
we've
good
got
one.
to play with a buddy, so I'll be back in.
Thanks for the game. Bye.
I
This
could
will
definitely use more practice.
This will be my the last match I'll be spectating. Then I have to get going.
Copy that. Are we sticking with this map?
Change it to DSDR 4.0.
Ooh.
DSDR 4.0?
It should be just type in
what?
DSDR.
I only see a 4.1 and a DSD 8.1.1.
DSDR 4.1.
Should we swap out? Let some new people in.
Yeah, I'm going spectate.
Alright, vote up.
Did that map go through? Or
It's
Yeah.
okay.
There we go.
It's through now.
To download it.
Yeah, it'll download.
Cool.
A lot of high ground up there. Good places for artillery. I might go very arty heavy and just, if I can, supply units to the folks next to me, so they can focus on holding the front.
Yep. As a
It's
reminder
a
on
fun
this
map.
Yeah, this is a staple of 8v8. So on this map, there are 3 tech slots. If you do not know how to tech, you get to learn. If you wish to play in the front, please play front. I'll mention which spots will be front and which ones are tech. So feel free to call. Feel free to ring people to ready up and to start the match. Why is there a team 8?
Well,
why is there a team 3? Actually, it's fine.
It's
as long
empty,
as
though.
as long as it's empty, it's fine.
How are there 9 players per team? Holy shit!
No, it's lying. There's only 8 per team.
it is buggy sometimes.
This sloppy system works.
So
Like
many
a government
features.
worker.
Right.
So
Someone else
Well,
needs to
there's-
ready.
That's a interesting comparison, Driver.
I was a government
Oh.
worker. I know.
From what I've seen, it's fairly easy to
The
break these
process
wallabies.
works. Trust us.
If you heard a ring sound, by the way, you need to hit ready.
I don't think he's hearing us.
Emma?
He's
Oh, there we go.
Okay, choppy lies.
It's like my first game playing with
Sorry, my
people.
bad.
Sure. It's fine.
I've only played with
That's-
AI.
That's why we are here.
This time I'll be paying attention a lot more to what's going on during the match and not be answering as many questions.
We can split driver if you want.
We are playing middle for a while first, right?
This will be a more traditional match. You will be trying to play to win. Just don't try to win by the 5-minute mark, please. That means you're being too successful.
You get promoted if
didn't know
that's the
that's a
deal. Like,
thing.
you're not allowed to play Clinic Day anymore. Or... Kidding.
No, you're allowed to participate. We just tell you to be less skillful.
No, just playing. This is literally my first game ever, so. Yeah, here, why not?
Econ. decent wind here.
Yeah. DSDR is a mix of wind and solar on this map. It is a low metal map to also consider. So
low metal.
That basically means that you're not going to see like 30 or 40 metal per second before T2. And this is a crowded game that is being played right now, which is why there are going to be tech slots. So if you are in the back top right 2 spots, or the bottom right spot, or the bottom left spot and the top left 2 spots, you are in the teching position. So this will be, I will name you, the Baptist, Vatlas, Zaps, Oslex, Black Edwards, and Neo.
So the tech slot, that means, are we nuking our commanders early and rezzing them?
You are nuking your commander for T2 labs.
Yep.
How do you tell us if it's a slot? Are you just saying is it because of the position of the map? Like they're more protected?
It's basically down to, is there a player in front of them in the same lane?
At what?
I see. Oh.
What's Neon
Oh,
saying?
I need a ready, my bad.
White is metal.
Basically, it's asking why not reclaim part of the commander instead of the nuking. It's basically down to you cannot reclaim a commander that's alive, but you can reclaim a commander that's dead. Feel free to.
Can you actually partially reclaim the husk and resurrect it later?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes,
That's
but you will have to put the metal that you took out back in.
Yeah, that's the safe. The safe way to do it.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if in a 8v8 5 people detonate their comms, then you have only 3 commanders, and if they all die, obviously you lose. So
if you are missing, we're missing one person. If you are the Baptist, if you don't want to play tech spot, you can move forward to the.
Looks like we lost somebody on the opposing team.
I think they are still connecting.
I'm willing to learn it. I've never done it. I've always been on the front line.
Okay.
Sure.
Just as a reminder, by the way, teching is not as important as knowing how to front. And it's a lot more specific. So if you are a techer spot, I'm going to recommend that you are core techs for this build. Basically, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be building up a bot factory. You will be going with 1 or 2 a standard 3max 2 solar build, then a lab. You will only get like 2 or 3 constructors and a res bot, and from there you'll grow your economy. Your goal is to get to about 300 energy income minimum if you are solar, or 500 energy income if you are on wind. I would recommend.
What about a mix?
Yeah, mix. I would still recommend 300.
Copy that.
If you are stronger on the solar, then it's just down to having a stable economy.
What about those of us who prefer to go Armada?
Armada has a worse advanced solar.
Yep.
Basically,
that's just it.
Yeah. For Armada, you would go. It's a little bit easier to go on wind.
So I'm gonna go with a mix.
Yeah.
More or less.
So you said 2 mechs. So sorry. So mechs, then 2 solar.
You're gonna go 3 mechs, 2 solars.
Two mexes, then a solar, then the final mex, and then build the lab. Or sorry, get another solar and grow your, then get the lab.
It only shows 7 in the lobby for the other team.
Yeah, he left.
If there's a spectator that wishes to offer to play, if that is an option.
I keep seeing that there is a connection attempt from Tiger Delight. I think that's how you'd pronounce it, but I don't know if they're the person.
Yeah, actually.
Same here.
Yeah, I see it. Restart. If someone could type in exclamation point stop in all chat and everyone votes yes on that. We'll just restart the match.
Oh, that's a useful little feature.
There is, if you type in all chat exclamation point resign, you call for a team resign vote. By the way, feel free to start at this time if people wish to.
Only works in everyone chat.
Yeah, don't do an ally or spectator. It won't work there. Or you can do it inside the lobby because you can always reopen the lobby from inside the match.
True.
So.
What the heck is with the team balance? That looks a little odd. Is it lying again?
Yes.
I think it is.
It always.
It is always. It has to do with the events of causing causing a player to be disconnected to the lobby. Don't know why it's hanging, but
it's a feature.
Ready up.
By now it's a feature. Maybe I should have maybe I should dive in the code. Maybe I can find something in it.
We're ditching this code.
Come on. There we go.
We're ditching Chobby, which is the current lobby scheme, for a more improved version that won't have this issue. Or at least have this issue. If you want to look...
We're moving over to Thai server anyway, so I think it's a combination of the interchangeability with Thai server.
There's 3 servers that everything has to go through for the player, so that might be a factor. Thai server is just the middleware server.
Good God, you have enough going on there. 3 servers? Are you...
it is. Yeah, but there are even more.
Well, there's more.
Well,
there's
the area I was gonna go for.
Yeah. Well, there are, to communicate for a match. Each instance of a match is its own server, followed by Thai server, and then there's SPADs, which all interact with each other. SPADs is the reason why we're still on the current protocol. Because
what is SPADs specifically?
It is the server protocol written in Perl.
Okay.
This is why SPADs is for everything starting with an exclamation point. Thai server is everything that starts with a $sign.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are the Baptist, Vatlis, Zaps, Oslex, Neo, or Tenderins, you are in the tech spots. It's a choice of Doom Armada or Core Techs or Core for teching. If you are attempting to do a nuke rush, you would be ARM. That is an exclusive ARM tactic.
Really?
It's a difference of 30 seconds for the nuke. It's
depending
actually
on
rather
how
big.
well you tech anyway.
But
30 seconds is significant. That even if you don't properly tech up, you're still faster.
Yeah. By the way, you are not going to be doing nuke rushes on this map.
How do I unready?
You don't.
Fuck.
Well, there you have it.
It's okay. You're in a decent spot. It will work. That's what this match is for, anyways. I've seen worse. Don't worry.
You grab them and you go forward.
Also, look at the metal income of the person that has the 2 spots.
Oh yeah. If you are Bagel or Peace Fighter, you have improved mexes on this map compared to the person that starts on the hill above them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fighting against Peace Fighter? Dang.
So
sorry, dude.
Uh-oh.
I'm not that good though. Don't worry.
I'm worse. Don't worry.
I can attest.
No, Bagel, I got you. I'm gonna help you out here. We're gonna develop something good.
Okay.
Toxic, are you in this chat? Toxic Ice?
Yes, he's here. Although he's muted.
Also,
Yeah, he's
another
muted.
thing.
I'm
Another
here.
thing
I did not know I was muted.
I've noticed with this one.
Welcome back to the living.
I'm in that text spot in the top right. Right. Looks like I'm only gonna have 3 mexes. So I'm gonna have to do heavily energy conversion, right?
No, you're basically your commander's what's going to pay for the T2 lab.
Yep.
And if you are teching, I would strongly recommend that you go bots. If you are in a teching spot and you don't tech, by the way, that's perfectly fine if you don't want to do that.
So, just a quick question. The whole like suicide your commander thing, like how?
You need to move him away from your staff, preferably to the end of a. For example, for your Vitals, you could just move it to the mountain. Then you click Control D, and after 5 seconds or 4, he'll detonate, and then you can reclaim him.
Yeah. If you are on the on the east side, the Baptist, if you see where all that energy, those bushes are, that's actually a fairly good spot to detonate your commander. If you are Tenderans, those bushes that are closer to the edge, the north edge of the map, that's a good spot to detonate. If you're Neo, it's kind of like in between you and Peace Fighter, where you probably want to detonate, or between you and Tenderans, towards the map edge. Feel free to start the match, by the way. If you are Zaps, towards the edge of the hill.
Oh, this should be fun.
As a general reminder, by the way, if you are on the north side of the map, you should be going with bots. If you're on the south side of the map, I would strongly recommend you can go with either bots or vehicles. As a general reminder, by the way, if you are not in the techer spots, you should be making use and going forward with stuff.
I will be gifting my units to Toxic Ice and focusing on our static defense. Try to get some artillery up ASAP.
Your choice.
Atlas or Baptist, can you provide me with a T2 bot as soon as possible?
Yeah.
If you give him metal, he will do it faster.
If this goes well.
I can try to.
By the way, if you are at a techer spot, you don't need any more than 2 constructors, but you should get a res bot. After that, you could safely reclaim your T1 lab. Peace Fighter, I liked where you drew for ideal detonation areas.
Yeah.
If you are Neo or of Atlas, I might recommend. I'm going to slightly recommend that you might get 1 grunt, just in case if a leak occurs.
A leak?
Leaks are when enemy units get to your base when they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, they get through the front line and sneak behind enemy lines to your unprotected base, for example.
Oh, lovely.
That happens, and it's always good to keep in mind that having 1 grunt or 2 can mitigate that.
I think we're going to see a lot of banter coming from Bagel.
So when am I blowing up my guy here?
Who's asking?
Baptist.
The Baptist.
Atlas. You should be working on getting some energy up first. You should be getting for not right now, get 3 or 4, get to 300 energy income. After that basic solar, you should probably go for an advanced solar with one of your constructors. Same for the Baptist and for Neo and Tenderans. Is Ozlex here?
You need a lot of energy to progress to T2. That's what you should be focusing on.
Ozlex is not here. Okay. Is Zaps here in voice chat?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to be tech or just going to go forward with units? Zaps.
Sorry?
Never mind. Don't worry about it then. Sorry.
Looks like somebody's already scouting us out, Toxic.
Yeah. Locke, I would recommend pushing forward at this point.
I am giving Toxic my units. trying to focus on building.
Yes, but you're giving advantage to the south side of the north lane.
Gotcha.
Because mexes are really valuable on this map.
Yeah.
You should be grabbing them and protecting them.
Copy that.
Especially considering that you only have you only start with 6 mil per second in your starting area.
Copy that. Good to know.
If you are Bagel, I would recommend getting rocket bots. Oh, you already are. Never mind. Usually always after 3 or 4 grunts on the front, I recommend switching over to rocket bots and just and maybe a res bot as well.
For example, if there's a big stalemate in your front line, you can always reclaim your bot lap and get a vehicle lap to get a mortar.
Toxic, if you're quick with the units, you could probably group them up and take out those defensive turrets rapidly.
No, he won't.
I've got a... Damn. Bit of a shame, but oh well.
And I don't know if that was said again, but the best time to kill a light laser tower is when it's being built.
Yeah.
So whenever you see that someone is building a tower, you can just rush it and kill it fast.
What is the self-destruct button again?
It is either Control D or Control B.
Yeah.
One of them.
On grid. Control B is on grid, Control D is on default.
Yeah. Baptist, you should have use the res bot to reclaim the commander and start the T2 lab right now.
Yeah, whenever you're using the res bots to reclaim, keep in mind that default right click with a res bot is resurrect, so change that to reclaim.
And also watch your metal income because it's going to grow quick.
So I should be reclaiming my T1 right now?
You should be reclaiming your commander, not resurrecting it. E and drag over the wreck. That and watch your metal income because you're going to run into your storage is going to fill up before your.
Oh, so I should stop and
stop right now. And get your other constructor to assist with the factory. By the way, I forgot to mention you should probably have a constructor
construction turrets.
Yeah, as well. That's on me, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
But it's fine. Peace Fighter, stop trying to win harder. Actually, if you self-destruct your commander right there, Peace Fighter will be perfect.
One CRL. Yeah.
Oh, you're joking. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
that's a hell of a joke.
This is not the
Damn
best
it,
idea.
I just made those mexes too.
Yep.
You're loading.
Oh, we're getting grouped.
Yep. If Bagel, don't try to go for the commander kill.
So should I have reclaimed my
T1? Yep.
You should reclaim it after your commander, or whatever you're doing with your commander.
It's 600 metal, so
yeah,
it will be useful. And I'd like to mention that this may not be. I mean, you're Laden. You're on 12 mass income, metal income, and that's gonna take a lot of time.
Yeah,
all of your time, and all of your metal.
I would recommend start reclaiming your T1 bot lab now. And get one T2 constructor and then work on your mexes.
I have nowhere to put mexes.
You can
hit select the constructor and the T2 constructor in the lab and just do area mex over the T2 over your mexes.
Toxic. What were you doing there? That commander's pushing our mexes now. That's kind of concerning.
Those are your mexes.
Yeah. By the way, if you select a T2 constructor and right-click over your T1 mexes, it'll upgrade the T1 mexes to T2.
Yes.
So, it's the same with area mex as well.
Also, you can send after you get your first advanced T2 constructor, you can assist it with your T1s.
Yeah.
That way he'll build faster.
Yeah, at this point in time, your goal is to assist getting your T2 maxes up as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And after that, you want to share a T2 constructor to your allies in front.
So should I be building a T2 constructor, another one,
No.
while I'm upgrading my T2?
Nope.
Okay.
No, you want to spend all of your metal on your T2 maxes.
Okay.
T2 max
Can you
costs
actually
T1
push
to
those
T2.
turrets?
T2 max costs 640 mass, so that's like almost more than half your storage.
Okay.
For example, you can always reclaim your solars if you're lacking metal for upgrading.
You can you can safely reclaim 2 of them of the basics.
All right.
I like how this constructor is just reclaiming a basic solar, and it doesn't have its arms out.
Nice. That looks hilarious.
I've seen funnier.
Also, those. For example, if you have if you are not using all your power on converting, you can always reclaim the terrain, flowers or whatever it is for the energy, and it will convert into metal.
By the way,
it's also a nice boost.
Yeah. By the way, there is reclaim on the map. If you are a techer, feel free to still reclaim from the front of the map, from the front players. At this point in time, if you are a techer, I know I've been paying attention too much to East. If you are Tenrens, are you here? No.
You are muted, Tenrens, by the way. If you want to, if you are speaking right now.
Oh, Neo, don't reclaim the T2 lab. You're going to throw. Oh, actually, no, you have the sword for it.
Heck, why isn't he building that?
Okay. Tenrens, if you actually no, you don't have the build power for it. When possible, try to reclaim your T1 lab. So,
damn it.
All right, Baptist. Right now you have an idle T2 constructor. You can give it a share it with your allies.
Yep.
For example, with the your front line.
If you want, make a try to bake a few constructed turrets first, like 2 or 3, then a metal storage, Baptist, and then go on to then go reclaim your T2 lab and convert that metal into a fusion.
Okay.
So, by the way, feel free to give the units away. Like Bagel could receive a T2 con, or maybe already will be receiving a T2 con. Maybe give it to Unlucky or other people.
Yeah, you can guys always pass it around. For example, when one player upgraded all of his maxes, you can give it to the other one.
Peace Fighter tried to win a little bit less harder.
Poor Bagel.
I am
shooting.
Somewhere along the way, I screwed up my economy building.
Lock.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you.
How do you like increase your metal? Because I mean, it just feels like I know it's like the map, but like I'm struggle busting on the metal side of things.
It's because you're going to be converting a lot of metal a lot of energy into metal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which is why you're going to be getting a fusion after those construction turrets.
How many construction turrets would you say for this?
4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
So Unlucky if you see that your techers forgot about you, for example, and didn't give you a
okay.
You can just ask.
Yep.
I think I got one.
I gave Unlucky one.
Okay.
Yeah, what do I build? Do I just build like a solar? Or...
Advanced.
Grab your
fusion. With the T2 constructor.
No, I mean first you just upgrade your maxes. we were talking about unlock.
Duh. I don't know why I forgot about that.
Upgrade your maxes,
Thank
and
you.
then you can work on other things.
I do have one question. I'm not in the game, but it was something I was thinking about. How much build power is like too much for a factory? Like, does it ever fall off if you have too many?
For T1, if it's more than 6, you have too much.
Okay.
Yep.
If it's T2, then I don't know what that number would look like. Probably like 10 or 15.
Okay.
It's more down to what can you support rather than what you can do. Sorry,
And what point in the game it is, for example. Because they cost 200 metal each. Keep that in mind.
Am I going straight to advance?
Regular fusion.
Regular fusion?
Yeah. Regular fusion and make a milk storage as well. Because you're over...
storage?
Yeah, with the two mega
okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, start the fusion and then rubber.
It's okay, you're overflowing metal to teammates, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, it's better to overflow than to stall.
Yep.
And after you finish your fusion, you can reclaim your solars.
With your red spot Baptist, feel free to reclaim your T2 lab. Tendrins, what are you doing? Okay. You're doing actually really well. Tendrins, you don't need a T2 metal storage, but that's okay to have.
By the way, Toxic, I have a T2 bot for you back here.
I don't.
Okay.
Label it.
How is that thing seeing? Okay, what's going on? I've got a jammer turret up, and that standoff
He's
weapon
hitting
is
the
still hitting
ground.
my turrets.
There are things called cameras on the map.
Am I fully reclaiming my T2?
Yes.
Yes, you want the metal.
Yeah.
To get the fusion and then advanced fusion.
Actually,
are you guys... Go ahead.
You're going to get two T2 converters after this. Two T2 converters for one fusion. As a reminder.
I have a questionable build here.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if that's the way to go on this map.
No,
especially that it's a low metal map. You shouldn't be building a track. I don't know if you're here. You shouldn't be building. Oh, yeah, he's not here. Never mind.
Yeah. If you have one T2 factory, you should not get another.
Even though it's another faction, it's still almost 3k metal, which is like 10-15 units.
Yeah. Remember that commander's can cloak, by the way. It does not hide you from radar, it hides you from vision. So.
Are you guys going to be opening a second lobby, or are we just doing one?
Just one for now.
I mean, there's 9 spectators, and people people said that they will be leaving, so...
Yeah.
Damn it. Lost those mexes.
After the second energy converter and straight to an AFU?
Yes.
Yep.
If you are VATless, you need to make units. From your T2 factory.
Bagel, one word of advice. I don't recommend building... I don't recommend RT to tank ratio 1-to-1. Because then you'll be easily overrun with pure tank, for example, army.
Yeah. VATless is your north side that's concerned, not the south side.
Where are you playing, guys?
It's a Clinic Day lobby. Baptist, you should actually you need a few more construction turrets. Okay. Just have the two build more, like 8 more.
Shift Alt and build like 3x3 square of construction turrets, and then you will use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, our defenses are not going to hold on the north side here. We could use some backup.
Yep, that's what your back allies are for.
Bring
By
the
the way,
Sheldons over
I
here.
would strongly recommend not building a T2 Geo right there in the queue.
Copy that.
Another thing, you're trying to build something really expensive with no metal in bank and just 22 income.
I don't know what else can outrange these guys at this time. So
Any of the
just
cheap T2
really use some
turrets.
backup.
Yeah, just the pop-up maybe.
Yeah, pop-ups will do it.
700.
Pop-ups?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
just
it's
work
just
on it.
T1.
Work on it though. Work on it though. Work on the turret though because it's almost done anyways.
Yeah.
Copy that.
You're too far
Thank you for
gone.
the advice.
Yeah.
So pop-up plasma artillery. Good to know.
No, the pop-up Gauss turret.
Scorpion pop-up sabot battery.
Oh, pop-up gun turret.
Yep. They're
Where's that?
like 4 times cheaper. It's 1 row.
Pop-up
higher.
sabot battery.
Got it.
That
Thank
one.
you.
Where's that?
And those remain hidden until they
Yes.
engage.
Those
right?
are your base T2 defenses.
Copy that.
The one that you are trying to build is like the most advanced close range defense in the game.
It's good to know.
What you're making is specifically an anti-T3 turret.
Yep. Against T1.
Well, actually, it does. The core version is a little bit better versus T1
Yeah,
spam.
that's true.
So, Krez, are you here in this match?
Yarlilling, can you share the tier 2, please? Tier
What's
2
the name?
constructor.
To who?
Toxic, I do
You're loaded in.
apologize. I
To
am
who?
still
What's
kinda
that?
fresh
I
at
need the
this.
name.
Peace fighter.
Peace fighter.
That's fun. That's fun.
Thank you. Where is it there? Okay, area max dinner.
By the way, Baptist, you're going to have to keep growing your build power.
Need
As a
more
reminder.
construction turrets.
Yeah, you're going to need.
And-
you're going to need like 16 more.
And in more open space because yeah.
Oh, okay.
After this APHIS, have
there
the
go the metal
T2 constructor
extractors.
make 4 T2 converters, and then remake the T2 bot lab.
Ooh, those Sabo batteries really do fucking work.
Yep. Also, because you've reached the highest point of conversion with the advanced fusion, Baptist, I believe. I mean, I'm a strong on the side that you should reclaim your solars because you have right now you have 1,000 mass in your solars.
Okay.
And that's
you should, but you need more build power first.
Yeah.
Start resurrecting.
So I built this metal storage in an absolutely horrible spot. That's what I'm getting from this.
That too.
You can build it and reclaim it.
You can
and
expand
put
your
one
build power
elsewhere.
elsewhere. By the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
go like south or west, north, whatever. Maybe to the corner is like the safest. Just draw a line of construction turrets.
Neon, are you in here?
Yep.
You need to start getting reclaim. You should have a few constructors up front to help reclaim your the Rex.
Yeah, I had them. They just died.
Oh, okay, never mind then. There's about 5.5k metal in front of you. Also, Neon, try to make sure that those Januses are spread out with line
Atlas,
moves because
Baptiste,
those
could one of you. Sorry.
because Januses really do care about being next to other allied units.
Yeah, they do friendly fire, same as rocket bots.
They are very dangerous for friendly fire. 5 of them will one-shot commander for comparison.
Baptiste, Atlas, could one of you give me one more T2 bot? It would help my build power.
Give me a second. Building one.
Copy that.
So, Baptiste, for example, you can look at Vitla's base, and he has a sufficient amount of build power right now, for example.
Yeah.
To get a.
Yarludin, do you know where your commander is?
In the back.
You sure?
No.
That's a really good spot for it.
So
all right.
So I've gotten to the point where my T2 lab is now. Am I making units again?
Yes, you'll be making things like Sheldons.
Okay.
Sheldons, Raider Drummers, Raider Bots, two Fiends to defend them.
As a
to
reminder,
support your front line.
Yeah. As a reminder, by the way, if you have a commander, please do pay attention to where it is. Because parking right next to an ally who's trying to build a fusion is not necessarily a good spot for it.
I had no idea. I even clicked it. My bad.
No, yeah, it was helping my Maxis to be built. So hey, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck you were thinking there, man.
No, it was following that engineer.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Toxic, I'm getting ready to build some pop-up artillery where your Sheldon guys are. Just keep that in mind. Do ally units auto-moved when
Yes.
When build queue start? Okay. Just
yes.
Making
they do, but they might not move to a spot where you want them to be at.
Got it.
By the way, if you have Sheldons on the north lane, you should start figure out how to push forward. You should not be defensive at this time.
I am gifting more T1 units to help with Zerging.
Yeah, if you wish, if you are Vatless or Baptist, you can freely give units to your allies in the front. They have better understandings of what's been going on in the lane anyways, compared to what's been going on behind you with the text lines.
I barely know what's going on, and I've been staring at the front line.
Okay. Just push forward. Literally just do push.
Another little advice?
Without losing everything, do that.
If you're building a defensive... I mean, most of the time, if you are building something in a larger quantities, like defenses or anti-nukes or nukes, you should be spreading them out because of the distraction radius.
Yeah. By the way,
also, yep, I see it.
Yep. By the way, Peace Fighter, you overbuilt advanced solars by a little bit.
Yeah, no.
It's fine. That works out for you.
So should I also be building like more advanced fusion reactors right now? Fully focused on.
You should be not advanced fusions, but for what you're needing to be doing right now, you would rather be building fusions, because you also need to get units out.
Okay.
Fusions are you build fusions if you need to get units out. You are building advanced fusions if you really need to eco.
Okay.
That's the best way to think of backline teching. So fusion, 2 more converters, and then another fusion, and then 2 more converters. Then you can go straight APHIS and pump out units.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
Too ambitious here.
Remember that there is Reclaim on the map. Please do try to grab it. There is 2K in Peace Fighter's lane and Bagel's lane. There is 7K in the Neon Krez lane. There is 5.5 in the North lane.
Copy that. Oh, good.
Although,
Advanced AA.
You don't always need the units. I mean, to have an advantage to reclaim, you can just quote-unquote sacrifice Suicide Resbot, because he has 200 build power. That means he's reclaiming really quickly. And if he reclaims, then your opponent won't reclaim it. And B, he will pay for himself pretty quickly.
Just as a heads up, by the way, there is a nuke on the field.
Oh, we're getting nuked.
What?
This is a core nuke, so it's going to be really big.
Where is it going?
Oh
no. My
poor
God.
Man.
Bagel, no. Oh shit.
That's not gonna. That did.
Bagel was covering for every mistake that I ever made. No. Oh no.
Damn, we don't have many anti-nukes in the field.
I wouldn't have
Move
said
the
that
Sheldons
if I were
up.
you. Because
we have
that
plenty
person
of anti-nukes on the field. I don't
Move
know
the
what you're
Sheldons
talking
up.
about.
Well, truth be told, I've only been paying attention to a limited number of areas, so.
If
Yeah,
you
I will say,
if
a
you are-
Udemy in the center.
Yeah.
That's all I really can say. Oh.
Bagel, you better fall back.
There is nothing.
As a recommendation, if you are in the north, you should start trying to push.
Well,
And
an
just
enemy
be
base just
patient.
got destroyed over
If you
here.
are on the south side, you should try to defend at this point. If for west, their win condition is basically holding north and pushing east hard in the south. For east, the win condition is pushing north hard while defending south. Those are your win conditions. And
Yep.
depending on how successful one of them is going to be, that's basically going to determine who wins at this point.
Yep. I can agree on that.
By the way, a core nuke loads in 120 seconds. A arm nuke loads in 90.
Oh man.
Is there a way to counter being stunned other than destroying the unit that's doing it?
You need anti-air.
Okay, so the countering
Basically, you need anti-air.
Okay.
By the way, with anti-nukes, don't try to build two right next to each other. Try to build two fairly spread out vatlists. Because what will happen is one spy bot will be able to stun all four of those.
Or war on from the EMP.
Yeah.
Mortar.
By the way, if you have by the way, you should consider using a nuke again if you have a good target. Even if it's just army that's being stunned, that's also viable.
Although keep in mind that nuking will remove, won't leave wreckages, so no reclaim then.
It depends on the target.
Yeah, I mean
if
the more
it says, for example, do leave wrecks behind. Well, there will be at least one.
But for the T2, T1 smaller units, it won't. It will destroy them completely.
Yep, and you might see wrecks flying all across the map. So if you're on east, you are on the back foot this time.
I feel it.
Yeah, I see
I'll
that.
tell you that.
Yep. And it's not just necessarily just because of the nuke, but also because of how teching goes. Baptist, don't worry. What I will warn you is that you were fairly slow, but that's fine.
I wasn't exactly expecting to be Usain Bolt there. That was my first time trying that.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
So, Tanrins actually did a fairly good job.
That's a lot of drones. And bombers.
They're just T1.
No, those are tier 2 bombers.
No, the T1 the drones are T1.
Yeah, but the
And
bombers
they're
took out fusion reactors. That's gonna be a problem.
If you are Zaps, you should not be building Sheldons. You should be making Sumos. Or Pyros.
Pyros builds twice as fast as Sumos, by the way.
Yes, but Sumos have better survivability.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm telling my commander to fall back.
Don't worry about that, unit Tenderance. It'll get there eventually.
Yeah, you're gonna be good when it does.
Unless it will get again.
The question is, will the game end before it gets there?
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Anti-nukes, yay!
By the way, as a recommendation, if you are a back player, you might want to consider making your T3 lab all the way in the front. Maybe where 64 has commander, or the 2 mexes in the north side, if you're on east. Actually, that's a fairly greedy spot. Maybe a little bit closer to the hills. Well, that looks like another successful nuke. By the way, as a reminder for nukes...
Oh my god, no!
By the way, with anti-nukes, by the way, they will not intercept a nuke unless if it's within his attack circle.
So I have no metal.
That happens.
There's enough metal on the.
It's
on the field, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about me. I'll go to Goodwill. I'll figure it out.
Who has
Oh my
background
gosh.
sound whenever someone speaks?
Those Sheldons kick ass.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep those in mind for the future.
There are like the main.
So where did you say you would recommend building this 2-3 at?
If you are you a spectator?
No, I'm the Baptist.
Baptist. So you know where your Sheldons are on the front line?
Yeah.
Around there. Oh. Voxy, you're...
Maybe not right now.
Yeah.
Because whenever you see that you're getting pushed, I mean, you
That's a
will
juggernaut.
consider enemy pushes.
Yeah.
Back up the Sheldons. Back up the Sheldons.
Yeah, that's a very fun thing to get shot at by. Good
Just
luck.
keep backing up. Just keep backing up.
Backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up.
My daddy taught me good.
Oh dear lord, someone else knows that song that is
Yeah.
like 10, 15 years old. No, wait, that song is like, what, 15 years old at this point?
Yeah, it's pretty old, man. Damn it, I have not had a chance to get Fusion.
Not my
Factors
precious
online.
construction turrets, please. So
Well-
proud of them.
Well, conveniently, Locke has a turret to deal with that specific threat. I wouldn't recommend placing a commander right next to that turret, though.
Especially since it's near an explosive object as well.
Also, it's a laser turret, so it will need energy.
Why do you think I'm building a Fusion?
He has the energy to support it.
Alright.
If he wasn't building the fusion.
Damn it. You know, I'm having to make some real trade-offs here.
You might not.
I
need
want to
to
be
make
like
any more
a
trade-offs.
guy that's a Debbie Downer, but I think the mid is pretty open.
I think Vatless is
It's
dead.
covered with my ashes, and that's it.
Yeah, Vatless is not gonna. Holy
What am I not
the
gonna survive?
hell?
What am I not gonna survive?
Good enough.
What did you do?
He just had anti-air. He had enough.
Oh.
The Bomber Rex did some damage though. Yes, if you
Yeah,
want to,
they in fact definitely did. Oh.
That's a behemoth, by the way. Good luck dealing with that.
Yeah.
Just 250,000 of HP.
Kill the
Alright,
anti-nuke.
now I'm dead.
Sometimes I just have ports.
That behemoth just tanks everything. What?
Yeah, it's 300k HP. It's okay, there's a solution coming to it right now.
Nice.
Oh, whoa! It just got degunned!
Yep.
Good degun.
Beautiful!
By the way, don't try to degun more than 2 T3 units at a time with a commander. And don't try to park units next to a cloaked commander. Ever. Because that defeats the purpose of cloak when the commander gets hit. Oh my god.
Yeah, good to know.
Hi, Paytak. I just spotted you.
Hello.
God. This is the last match I'll be doing, so... No, that's exactly why we have degun. Commanders are relevant even in the late stages.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing was I got stuck on my economy. Like I had a good opening, and then I just couldn't support it enough to where I could actually match my production needs for the front line.
Yeah, and
also that was quite a cheesy nuke on you.
Bagel got unlucky.
Got
Because
unlucky.
there's
Yeah.
I forgot
If
to
you-
remind
We're
people
not gonna
about
last
the.
long, are we?
Oh no, the game's already over. Don't
Yeah.
worry. It's just a question of how much damage do the T2 bombers need to do.
the anti-nuke is gone, so
Please, I just.
Well,
I tried to
had a few
support with like
learning
a front
experiences
vehicle
this
plan.
game.
Yeah, I learned a lot just doing that.
wait,
Oh, God! And that's one of my tier 2 constructors destroyed by exploding defenses. Oh, no. That's sad. That makes me very sad.
So when is West Team going to be producing more units and just trying to push?
Yeah, West Team really needs to like end it.
I mean, if you guys have captains, you can just resign.
Yes, you do that as well. But I don't trust people.
Oh, right.
Great job.
Vote interface.
If
Arithmetic
someone
on
on
a nil
East
value
can...
removed widget.
Removed widget vote interface. Interesting.
Wait,
that's a bug report.
Interesting feature.
Do we just want to self-destruct our commanders at this point, Toxic?
Locke, move your commander next to Toxics.
Are we self-destructing together?
Hold hands.
Self the. Oh,
One
it's
of these
Hunger
should dig
Games.
each other.
dig on each other.
3, 2, 1, self-destruct!
GG, guys.
GG.
Man, just the level of production I wanted to have just never happened.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a souvenir grenade moment right there.
Because I think I was doing decent actually hanging around. It's just I didn't have production to actually meet the combative needs of the front line.
You need to rely a little bit on T2, on getting T2 from the back bases. So.
Yep. That's why I asked Charlotte in for T2 constructor halfway.
Yeah, I didn't. You just kept. You were asking for it. I was like, wait, who was asking though? I was like, who is?
Yeah.
Oh, this should
I was
be
like, I got
interesting
you. I was like, I got you, but who? Like.
Understandable.
In a big chat like this, you can just write in the game chat.
Yeah, I'm going to be ending the stream at this time, by the way. So.